1881.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. After Halloween, your used jack-o'-lantern and other gourds are great additions to any compost pile. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
2 questions. Do you have a small business? Great. And do you have 5 minutes? Even better. You've got everything you need to start an application for quick, hassle-free financing from Capitus. We've helped more than 50,000 small businesses just like yours get competitive financing and the working capital they need in as little as 1 day. So, don't wait. Skip the red tape and get a decision today. Apply at capitus.com/radio. Go to kapitus.com/radio.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
Celebrate Faith and Liberty Day on William Penn's birthday, Saturday, October 14th at the Faith and Liberty Discovery Center, 5th and Market Streets in Old City. Enjoy free admission, free ice cream sundaes, giveaways, and meet and greet William Penn himself, plus a special appearance by 1210 Stom Giordano. Step inside and experience the Faith and Liberty Discovery Center, where the good book meets the history book. For more information, visit faithandliberty.org.
American history in a whole new light.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Friday, October 6th. It is indeed Kayal and Company, right here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube. As we head until 10 o'clock this morning, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. You can get in on social media at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Senzelin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers this morning. We've made it. It's Friday. Dawn, hello, how are you?
Good morning. Happy Friday.
I didn't think Friday would ever get here, but it always does. Gregory.
Yeah, buddy.
Fired up?
Yeah, buddy. Going to be a good weekend of sports, by the way, won't it?
Awesome.
That's enough of the sports.
Sorry. God. Have we decided what we're doing with the 60 spot?
I have no idea.
Are you rolling it over? Are you going to pay me now?
We might have to do like a Phillies-Braves Game 1 prediction / series prediction.
I like it.
Plus the Eagles-Rams.
Yep.
I'm going to need like a Biden bailout by the end of the weekend. It's going to be unbelievable. Can you cancel my debt, Joe? Unbelievable. Oh, we got a lot of good stuff to get to, including Biden's border wall of shame. Donald Trump, House Speaker, perhaps, short term.
Are you? I don't want to.
Uh-huh.
Are you buying this?
No,
really
Trump
happen?
came out and endorsed Jim Jordan.
Yeah.
He's just flattered.
Yeah. He was like, well, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. If I have to unite the party, but I'm running for president, so I can't be there long term. So, unbelievable stuff on that front as that musical chairs continues to happen. Also in the news this morning, Taylor Swift, you're not welcome at Lincoln Financial Field.
That's an amazing story. It's an amazing story.
Victory!
Yeah.
We'll get to that and all sorts of good stuff. Plus a loaded cut sheet as always. But let's get to the news. We're around number 1, 6:04 on this Friday morning. For that, we go to the great Dawn Stensland.
Yeah, we have a lot of new information on some stories, some of the top stories of the day locally. We have, we've learned more. Remember I told you about the situation that happened in Chinatown. There was a real mystery with that shooting of a man who we now know is a beloved DJ in Philadelphia. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding this as to who in the world would ever want to target this individual. But that's what we have going on. So police are asking for anybody with any information as they look to what's going on here. He's a well-known DJ, John Hershock, and family and friends are speaking out saying they're praying for a miracle. So we know that he was leaving Tango nightclub on Apple Tree Street near Chinatown, and this was Wednesday morning early. So he was at Tango, said goodbye to friends, and then he was shot in that alleyway, hospitalized in critical condition. This is the one we talked about Wednesday morning, that we learned about it later in the morning, where the police just scooped him up and rushed him to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt saved his life.
Yep.
However, he's been on life support. And so very concerning this morning as to who would do this. And said 38 years old, had no enemies, left, on good terms, and they can't figure this out. But friends and family say that he was always the guy who was life of the party, hosting the Phillies tailgate actually Tuesday nights, and remember saying goodbye to him, seemed fine. They did say that he was kind of bummed out that week because he was one of the individuals. His store in the Northeast was one of those that had been victimized by looters, believe it or not. So, we talked about all the looting. So we don't know, is that some kind of a connection? Was this a robbery attempt? It's just kind of a bizarre story.
I'm not sure that police officers get enough credit for the times where they say, you know what, we don't have time to wait for, the ambulance to get here. We're taking him ourselves. And that sadly has become somewhat of a common practice these days.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. We have an update as well on that domestic that we talked about the other day with the 3 Philadelphia police officers shot and wounded responding to a domestic call that started with a 12-year-old boy who called for police, called for help. This was 7:30 Wednesday night, 7500 block of Whitaker Avenue in Northeast Philadelphia, in the family's home. So Philadelphia are called there by the 12-year-old son, who said that this had all begun with some kind of a verbal argument with the 12-year-old and his father, who's now identified as 42-year-old Michael Huang, apparently over these video games. So they get in some kind of, their words passed. The uncle gets involved. Allegedly, the dad shoots the uncle. This is when the 12-year-old now calls for police. Police come in. They know that this is going to be a domestic. They know that somebody has a firearm, right? They know that this is a pretty volatile situation. So they come in with a sergeant, 2 officers. That's when police say Mr. Huang, Michael Huang, fires upon the officers. They were all wearing their body camera. So they have all of this, and they say you can hear on one of the tape, the officer says, I'm hit. And this is going down very quickly. Ultimately, what they're saying here is that Huang was wearing a ballistic vest, armed with a .40 caliber Glock pistol, several loaded magazines, had other, this guy was loaded to the gills basically, and had that ballistic vest on, bulletproof vest. So that was kind of a surprising, revelation that they're giving us. This morning, the good news is that we have the sergeant and one of the responding officers who were shot. They have since been released, and they're heading home. The third officer, more serious injuries, shot in the leg. But as we know, leg injuries, depending on where you're hit, that can be a very serious situation. So long-term recovery, obviously. So the third officer is still in the hospital this morning, recovering, but serious wounds, but recovering in stable condition.
Always kind of confusing to me. I know you've said in the past that the domestic situations are always usually one of the roughest things to arrive at when you're a police officer, which is kind of odd because it's family, and those actually end up tending to be the most volatile situations of all.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a great point. On lighter, brighter notes, I'll talk about our sports weekend. So we have the Phillies facing the Atlanta Braves, obviously, in the National League Division Series after sweeping the Marlins in the wild card round. So Game 1 getting underway Saturday, October 7th, tomorrow, 6:07 p.m. in Atlanta. NL champion Phillies finishing third last season in the NL East. Braves, they keep saying, they're the best team. We're all sick of it.
I mean, we're not sick of it. They're the best team.
We're hot right now.
Some of their fans yesterday.
We're hot.
From
the
old station I worked at in Atlanta are like a little concerned. Like, well, we haven't had to play for anything in a while. We might come out rusty. The Phillies look like they're ready to go. They are the most fragile fan base in sports. Even when they're really good, they still think they're going to get like gypped or screwed or have run into a buzzsaw. Trust me. We take Game 1, they will be panicking.
Good. So that's Game 1 on Saturday, Monday, October 9th, 6:07. Braves still hosting the Phils. Then Wednesday, October 11th, we come home. Phils host the Braves Wednesday and Thursday if needed, because hopefully we just, get her done.
Yes.
Spencer Strider against Ranger Suarez.
I know.
Yeah. Strider's got a great mustache, by the way.
He's a Philly killer.
Yeah, he is.
Why do you say that stuff? I don't even... You're just
because
being
I'm not
negative.
a rah-rah person like you are.
Just being all negative.
Greg loves the Rams on Sunday.
I call things objectively, unlike you, news person.
Here's
when it's
to
sports,
you.
I claim no objectivity in sports. I don't even try, okay?
Yeah.
And so, you just said Rams, what is it, 4 o'clock?
Yep.
So, all the food's got to be ready by about 3:20.
Yeah, you got the crock pot going this weekend?
Got it all going.
All right.
Little doing the French toast.
Oh.
In the crock. I know it sounds weird, but it's delicious.
Okay.
Some chili. Got 2 crock pots going.
All right. So lunch will be taken care of Monday for Greg and I.
So that'll be fun on Sunday. And then we've got the weekend. It's weather, not so fun. NBC 10 first alert forecast. So today we still remain warm in the mid to upper 70s. 77 is your high, but the rain and the wind start kicking in later this afternoon, this evening. Tomorrow for your Saturday, kind of an ugly Saturday. Blustery, windy, rainy. Yikes. Sunday, at least, it's going to be sunny, but high is 60 degrees. So a 20-degree change is happening overnight tonight into tomorrow, and then we go to more seasonable fall-like weather. But at least next week, it looks like that brisk, crisp fall-like weather starting on Sunday. This is Kayal Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. As we get it going, 6:13 on this Friday morning with one last big take of the week.
The Big Take on Kayal Company.
The big take this morning, Biden's border wall of shame. We all remember the timeless 1989 classic Field of Dreams with Kevin Costner and this iconic line. Listen and watch.
If you build it, he will come.
Okay, you must have heard that.
And now at the 23rd hour, the Biden administration is reversing course and saying if we build and finish the wall, maybe they won't come. That's the hope, at least. Well, the wall was racist, we were told. The wall was stripped down. The current administration undid a lot of the work and success of the Trump presidency as soon as they took over in 2021. This will be great, even if it's entirely too late and a desperate sign of political posturing and maneuvering. There are plenty of migrants that have entered this country illegally, record numbers in September. So now, Politics 101. The Biden camp will get tough on the border. They're going to work on the wall, reduce numbers, claim victory, and then, if reelected, open that bad boy right back up. They're not fooling anybody. Sanctuary cities, big blue mayors, even state governors pleading and begging for the president and his border patrol to step up their efforts and save cities like New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, and others from being overloaded with drugs, crime, cartel members, terrorists, undocumented adults, as well as children without parents. But let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Here are some of the receipts of Stooge number 1 and Stooge number 2 bloviating on about the border. Listen and watch.
Trump campaigned on build that wall. Are you willing to tear that wall down?
No, there will not be another foot of wall constructed on my administration. All those people are seeking asylum. They deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Fox News, Kayal and Company, where receipts are held. The Biden administration is waiving environmental regulations and building a new wall in an area of Texas that has seen hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings this year alone. A construction project that Biden vowed would not be undertaken when making campaign promises in 2020. After immediate backlash to the reports, Biden claimed to reporters that he had no choice in the matter, that his hands were tied, and that he has no faith the wall will do any good. Soon after, a DHS spokesperson put out a political statement attesting to the humane and goodly intent of the blameless Biden. Biden spoke to reporters in the Oval Office on Thursday during a security briefing on Ukraine. Fascinating, securing Ukraine over the United States. He was faced with questions about the barricade, and Biden said he didn't want the wall, but his administration was legally forced into it after funding was allocated for it back in 2019. Let's take a listen to the president and his feelings about the wall and the bureaucracy behind it. Listen and watch.
I'll answer one question on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No. Okay, thank you.
No, it's not going to work. No, the wall is absolutely going to work. It's a deterrent, and it's also a monstrous barricade preventing people from getting into this country that should not be here in the first place. And we have the stats to show you the difference between the Biden administration and also the Trump administration. Keep in mind, in March 2020, at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Trump administration invoked Title 42, a controversial statute ostensibly meant as a public health measure. The policy allowed U.S. authorities to swiftly expel migrants, including asylum seekers, at the border. Nearly 400,000 people were detained and expelled between its implementation and January of 2021, when Trump left the White House. What Biden did, he defended keeping Title 42 in place, using the pandemic as justification. Over 2.28 million people were expelled using Title 42 authority between January of 21 and March of 23. The last month for which they kept data on this. But when the U.S. ended its coronavirus public health emergency on May 11th, 2023, just this past spring, Title 42 expired with it. And since then, it's been like the running of the bulls as floodgates have opened. 304,000 illegal migrants in August alone. This coming after we saw 302,000 in December of 2022. And if you watch Fox News, you'll see the video of the people swimming across the water, crawling through and over barbed wire, climbing fences, and doing anything to enter the United States of America. Meanwhile, Alejandro Mayorkas will not use the crisis word in public. He will take that to the grave with him. But it was nice of him this week to say, quote, "We are in imminent need of the wall," end quote. Another stooge and puppet in the Biden administration. And in Stark County specifically, we have seen over 245,000 migrant encounters in that sector this fiscal year alone. Mayorkas says he is using his authority provided by Congress to waive 26 federal laws, including the Clean Air Act, Safe Drinking Water Act, and the Endangered Species Act. The Biden administration has not only waived 26 federal laws, they've waved the white flag. And it's time to finish the wall. If you finish, they might not come. And Trump was right all along. And that's the big take.
The Big Take. Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you have thoughts and reaction, you can jump in, 855-839-1210 on social media at 1210WPHT. And, of course, on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the like and subscribe buttons and be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community. We'll come back at thoughts and reaction to that, the latest with the House Speaker and Trump, as we roll on Friday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, it is Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you're thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action than right now. Just go to FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up right now. Looking at the Eagles-Rams game for Sunday. I'm still on the Rams. I'm still on the Rams at +4.5. I know. Look, I just call them as I see them here. No Fletcher Cox this weekend. I don't know. If Cooper Kupp plays, it could be it could spell trouble for the Eagles. That's all I'm saying. But you can bet on everything from spreads, player props, over-unders, so much more. Visit FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL and is the official partner of 1210 WPHT 21 and over. President PA. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Question for you. How many healthcare providers do you know who schedule downtime in their offices for team training? Not many. But my good friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz does that because he wants to ensure that he and his staff are well-versed in all the latest technology, so when he invests in new state-of-the-art equipment for his patients, he can rest assured that he and his staff can maximize the performance of the new technology. One of their latest investments is the Trios 5 scanner. Talk about amazing. The Trios 5 has an incredible design which reduces the potential for patients gagging or experiencing discomfort during the impression-taking process. Plus, the process is much faster, which saves Dr. Bentz and his patients precious time. The scans are done, the plan is made, and the on-site lab gets to work. Dr. Bentz and his staff are a well-oiled machine when it comes to your comprehensive dental care. They're always working to make that experience as comfortable and as seamless as it can be. Visit them at BentzDentalGroup.com.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Jalen Hurst here with Harley from Window Nation.
Jalen, don't you love the home field advantage?
Absolutely. Do you?
I love that in the home improvement field, Window Nation gives you a big advantage.
Like what?
Custom-made, energy-efficient windows with tons of options, expertly installed and backed by the best customer service team anywhere.
So that means lower energy bills, higher home value, and peace of mind?
And savings, Jalen. So buy 2 windows and get 2 free, plus no interest for 2 whole years.
Get the Window Nation advantage for your home. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Is the IRS after you? Do you owe them so much money you will never be able to pay them? Are they levying your bank accounts, garnishing your paycheck? Are you making monthly payments you cannot afford? If so, you need to call the Tax Problem Solver at 609-970-4634. I'm Charles Montesino, and I solve IRS problems. Do you have unpaid income or payroll taxes? Do you have unfiled returns? The IRS is starting to audit the employee retention credits. It doesn't matter. I can help. All I do is help people with IRS problems. I'm a certified public accountant and certified tax resolution specialist. That makes me one of the few people in the entire country that can help you. Again, my name is Charles Montesino, and I solve IRS problems. Call me at 609-970-4634 or go to taxproblemsolved.com. That's 609-970-4634. Call now and get started on the road to relief. Again, the number is 609-970-4634.
I want you to picture the most beautiful coastline in the world. Stretch of southern Italy overlooking the sea, the Gulf of Salerno. One of the most beautiful, lush places. Great food, great people. I can't wait. Join me for 12 magical days in luxury with the professionals, and nobody does it better than Conservative Tours. So I know the last time WPHT travelers visited Italy, many of you discovered northern Italy with my friend Dom Giordano. Well, next, we're heading to southern Italy on a gastronomical tour, yes, with me, to the Amalfi Coast. And yeah, if I'm putting my good name on this, I want to travel with the very best tour operator in all of Italy. I've promised my husband, I promised my kids, this is the trip of a lifetime for the four of us, taking them. And thanks to my friends at Conservative Tours, this is really catered and created for us. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, by the way, at Conservative Tours. We're going to take the high-speed jet fuel to the Isle of Capri, $52.67. That includes your airfare, luxury hotels, dining events galore. You're going to be talking about this years from now. Just call toll-free 888-733-9494, conservativetours.com. I'm talking about the Abbey of Monte Cassino, some of Italy's best-kept secrets. Puglia, medieval Caserta, Sorrento, Pompeii. And yes, we'll see all the ancient sites, the great sites of Rome, for example, the Colosseum. Join me next spring in Italy. See you on the Isle of Capri. Call now, 888-733-9494, conservativetours.com. Tell Dawn sent you.
From Broomall to Brookhaven, follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
Everybody eats on a Friday, baby. It's Kayal and Company, 626. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Good to have everybody in. 855-839-1210. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. We will get to Donald Trump and the Speaker of the House conversation in just a few moments. But I always find it fascinating. You know, we did the big take this morning on the border and the wall and, you know, the big real pivot here from the Biden administration of where they were campaign-wise in 2019, where they were in 2020 as we were getting ready for the election, and then what they were doing in the pandemic for 21, 22, and all the way up until this past May of 2023 when Title 42 expired. And now it's a complete turnaround, a full 180, maybe even a full 360 on building the wall, the need for the wall, the completion of the wall. And I just jotted down a few, talking points here. Isn't it funny how these things start out from Republicans as far as conversation of, hey, the border is a disaster. We're being overrun. We need to really focus in on this and make sure that the Biden administration eventually gets their act together. And there's always pushback, right? The left will never agree. The mainstream media will never agree. Or the mainstream media won't cover it, or they'll say, that's just a right-wing conspiracy theory or a Republican talking point, yada, yada, yada. And I started jotting down all the things that Republicans and conservatives have been right on in the last 3.5 years, where we were labeled one thing, but then it kind of became undeniable, and then the left and the Democrats, they start gathering around, and they pick up our talking points, and, well, everybody can see it now. We have to do something about it. So let's think about this. The border, which we just discussed, which you can tie in with sanctuary cities, New York, Philly, Chicago. Oh yeah, you can come. We're open for business, baby. And then all of a sudden, the buses start showing up, and they're coming by the hundreds and the hundreds, and eventually it's up. We're all full. Okay, so Republicans were right about that. You're starting to see now how a lot of people believe that Trump is being persecuted and it's a political prosecution. Trump's just got sour grapes. And then slowly along the way, you look at polls, you look at data, and most Americans start to realize, yeah, there is kind of a double standard going on here with Trump. How about masks? How about boosters? How about vaccines? Oh, you're anti-science, you're anti-vax. Now more Americans than not will not take the booster in 2023. How about the origins of COVID? Oh, it was a natural jump from a species to another human at a wet market. It wasn't a lab leak. Oh, and now agencies like the FBI are like, yeah, we have pretty strong conclusions that we think this was created in a lab. And then you have Biden's age, his mental health. Oh, the Washington Post jumps in. The New York Times jumps in. Even the most left-wing columnists arrive at the conclusion in 2023, hey, you know what? Joe doesn't have his faculties with him anymore. Everything that we get labeled for being wrong about, eventually, and I'm not saying everything turns out that way, but it's been a common theme for 3.5 years where it's almost like a slow, silent, quiet admission from the left that the right was right all along. I mean, it's really remarkable when you think about it. And I'm just watching some of these border videos yesterday. And the one that really bothers me the most is the kids crawling on the barbed wire. Like, if you've seen it, it's like a little coil. It reminds me of those little obstacle courses where your kid gets in that little tube and he crawls across and he gets out and he jumps into the ball pit. Except these are tubed, like, wires of barbed wire. And it's just so barbaric looking. Like, that's what these people are so desperate to get into this country that they're willing to walk on barbed wire. I mean, I don't want to walk on anything less than a $100 sneaker. And these kids are crawling across barbed wire. Yeah. So,
it's a sin.
But I think, Greg, you said it at some point yesterday that this is a political maneuver more than anything with election season coming up. And it's like, all right, let's kind of tidy this up in the fourth quarter here.
Well, let's rewind to really what started this. And it was a brilliant move by Greg Abbott, was sending this, everybody knew what was happening at the border. I mean, people who were paying attention. But nobody really knew, like, those people in Texas, because that has been the hotbed for illegal migration for a long time.
Yep.
So this brilliant move by Abbott, where he basically just was like, you know what, screw this. I'm going to send these to all the places that don't think we're having a crisis now. And it woke up New York. It woke up Massachusetts. I mean, there's a story now where the Army-Navy game that's being played there, there's no hotel rooms because migrants are staying there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, so, like, all of these places that were like, no, there's no problem at the border.
Right.
The border's fine.
Yep.
Now it comes to their doorstep, and they're like, I guess there is a problem.
Well, that's Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey. She's one of the prominent Democrats who blasted the Biden administration, called it a federal crisis of inaction.
Yeah.
And so you have not just the New York mayor now visiting the southern border before Kamala does such a tour, right?
Right.
The whole thing is a disaster and a disastrous look for Democrats. But I think Greg is right that if you think about the fact that Abbott chose New York City, which is the media mecca, but also a business mecca, and is also a Democrat mecca.
That's correct.
And right, so it's got like the trifecta there.
Yep.
So the fact that New Yorkers are furious, and you have all of these woke New Yorkers looking around and saying, "Oh my God, like, you have all of these people, these migrants, and they're gonna harm Broadway, and we're trying to bring back what's going on?" You know what I mean? And they finally get it that this is an actual. It's a humanitarian crisis also for the individuals. They have 122,000 people descend on New York City, which I know has a ton of people, but it isn't, it's also an island.
Right.
This is not LA or something that's more spread out.
No, it's densely packed.
Right?
Yep.
And so 122,000 people descending upon New York City.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's your impact.
You have to build up because you can't build out in that city, and they're overcrowded to begin with. And then, Greg mentioned the Army-Navy game. The players and the team will be fine, but there's not that either one of those programs has a huge following of like football fans hardcore, but they're all the former cadets, all the former military members.
It's probably one of the biggest games of the year.
It's an awesome sight, and you have so many people that served in our country, and they're not going to be able to get hotel rooms because everything is going to be booked up from what people come across the border.
Yep.
It's just outrageous. Yeah. Speaking of the border, let's hear Karine Jean-Pierre. This was a little Q&A presser yesterday at her White House press secretary briefing. Take a listen to this.
We believe that there are better, effective ways of moving forward to secure our border and security. Our border security, and we have continuously asked for Congress to act to provide our CBP, the law enforcement at the border, to give them the resources they need to do their jobs. And so we're going to continue to call on Congress. We believe, and the president has been very clear, even when you asked him, does a border wall work? He said no. And he's been very consistent about that. We believe that we need border technology that is modernized and land ports of entry, and that's what we want to see. And that's what I can speak to. And this is something that we were required by law, and we are complying. This is an administration that does believe in the rule of law.
Oh, so they believe in the rule of law. Okay. And, he sits there, or she sits there and says that, no, Joe does not believe that the wall works. Well, then I would have just followed up with, and I would have said, well, Karine, here are the numbers under Donald Trump. Here are the numbers actually also under Barack Obama. And here are the numbers currently for your administration. What did those two administrations do well that worked that you have not basically pulled a copycat routine with? And, Biden takes everything else from Trump, right? Biden plagiarizes everything. He tries to steal his Make America Great stuff and all the phrases. So why don't you just do exactly what Trump did and protect Americans from this, basically, which is really, honestly, it's an invasion. There are videos of people that's it's like literally opening up the stadium for a concert and watching people just rush in to get their front row seat if it's first come, first serve.
And now the FBI saying that on their terrorist list, 151 of these individuals who've crossed over on the terrorist list. Mm-hmm. Trump did speak out on Truth Social. Maybe we said this earlier, but he said, will Joe Biden apologize to me in America for taking so long to get moving, allowing our country to be flooded with 15 million illegal immigrants from places unknown? Mm-hmm. That was Trump on Truth.
Yeah. You've got people getting let out of prisons. You've got people getting let out of psych wards, so to speak, as Trump has mentioned in the past. Yeah, and look, some of them are just coming here. They want to get a job or get 3 jobs and live a better life. But trust me, there's plenty of bad individuals, and the whole world knows that the border's open. So when you say terrorists, yeah, there might be some from Mexico, but they could be coming from anywhere across the globe and working their way up through the southern border with ill intentions on their mind. So.
It's funny because I said this yesterday that I do think that the securing the border is a winning issue, and I think that that was one of the big reasons Trump won in 2016. Mm-hmm. I think that the Biden administration knows it's a winning issue, and I think that they are trying to play both sides. I think that they want to secure the border. They want this to go up, but they also want to kind of say, well, it's not, it's we're just going by the law, mm-hmm. which I don't really understand. I don't, maybe somebody can explain why, it's the law that it has to go up now. Does anybody know?
I think it's just based on funds that were allocated that you have to actually.
Well, wait, they're claiming that. Right. Biden is claiming that, saying, that's what I mean. This money was appropriated by Congress. Yep. However, on Wednesday, when Mayorkas, quietly kind of tried to announce this, they had to take down dozens of laws and environmental groups, lawsuits, and all of that. They just, under the guise of Homeland Security, they just swiped all that down. And so that's why the environmentalists and the left progressives are flipping out, mm-hmm. saying, no, you knew what you were doing. You could have kept all the red tape. You got rid of the red tape. You wanted this to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's the difference.
Yes.
They used Homeland Security. They found, and believe me, we're just going, oh, well, great. I think overall, yeah, good, thank God. Mm-hmm. But they're being it's disingenuous at being kind.
Yeah, they want to have it both ways. Mm-hmm. They want to secure the border. They want this to go up, but they also don't want to look good, or they don't want to look bad to their progressive base. So they're like, well, we have to put it up now. It's just not. So, like, I just want to know all of these people, AOC and everybody, all the Dems that, called this border wall racist and xenophobic and everything else under their sun, are they going to say that same thing now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I just think ultimately that two things, the prominent Democrats, New York City, the impact of that, the polls, and the fact that you have liberal cities and so on that are affected by this. But number two, I do believe that they have intel. My feeling is they have intel that they know they're going to have to own the fact that they have terrorist groups who they've let in.
Yeah.
And that is on them. And that's going to, we have a year to find that out, which is horrifying and scary. But I fear that that's what we're going to learn.
By the way, we're broadcasting right now live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Check us out and hit the subscribe.
Wait, I don't have my lipstick on.
And hit the like button. I mean, we go on live every morning, Dawn, at 6 a.m.
I know.
Except one day this week. Daniel on the YouTube chat writes, they ignored the Supreme Court on student loans. What makes you think they wouldn't ignore the border laws? Well, that's a good point. They pick and choose what laws they want to uphold. Then all of a sudden, this comes up, and where they fought everything else that they did like tooth and nail. This they're just like, well, it's the we abide by the law.
Well, that's classic. That's the classic playbook from the Democrats. Is they pick and choose which laws to adhere to. They pick and choose which science that they believe because, well, trust the science, get the vaccine. But no, boys can become girls. We actually skipped biology class.
But I just couldn't believe, Biden in the Oval Office yesterday telling reporters, we can't stop the construction. The money was appropriated. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect the money. They didn't. They wouldn't. Like, really, you're just, with a straight face, you're trying to say this when you know full well what you did.
Yep, that's what they do because they know they're going to go unchallenged and the media is just going to allow it to keep going on. Yep.
He tried. He could. Not his fault. What are you going to do?
Well, it's funny. Now you see all this crime happening in all these big cities, Philadelphia, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and you see the migrants coming to the doorstep, literally the doorstep of Kamala Harris, and coming to New York and Massachusetts and Martha's Vineyard and everywhere else, and it's literally come to their front door, and they have no choice but to react to it.
Boy, what I wouldn't have done or paid to be the ring, the doorbell ring thing on Kamala's front porch when that happened, just to be a fly on the wall in that moment.
Well, let's be a little fair. I don't know if they literally went to her front door. I'm sure they couldn't get there. You know what I mean? Like she has a nice gated security and everything. She doesn't want to arm anybody else, but you damn well bet her people are armed.
But you mentioned, Greg, the big cities, but it's not just the big cities. We have the story this week coming out in Bemidji, Minnesota, which is consuming all the major TV markets in Minneapolis and across Minnesota. This little 11-year-old girl taken, and they found other girls, and they were gang assaulted. I'm being, they were gang raped. She was gang raped and physically is hospitalized and suffered serious injuries as these men, all illegals living in this home, tied her down. They found other little girls tied up in this house. Well, it's a story that is consuming all of Minnesota and Minneapolis. And so that was a rural Bemidji because I went to J school, journalism school, in Minneapolis. I mean, that's a rural area. And so that kind of story is leading, will lead people to say, well, even if you're in a community where you say, look, the vast majority of folks coming over, a lot of people saying they're like the Irish or the Italians, they're coming over, they're immigrants, they have a right to come. The problem is if you're an immigrant, you came here legally, or even if you came here seeking asylum, you're looking at this saying, boy, Joe Biden and this administration is doing a disservice to all of those immigrants who are coming to this country, with their Bibles and their rosaries and their work ethic and not their pronouns, right? And they're coming here to work and for a better life. This administration, you could argue, even if you're pro letting lots of folks in, does a disservice to the good names of the vast majority of individuals.
Well, yeah. So you go about it the right way, the paperwork, the processing, the protocol, the vetting, and then it basically happens at the border. It's like no different than with the student loan bailout program. I borrowed money, and I've paid almost all of it back, And now I'm watching other people that are in debt, and they're just given a write-off. It's no big deal. Like, wait. So I did it the right way as a responsible, personally accountable adult, and everybody else is just getting bailouts. How do you think that makes me feel? It's the same way for people that came over here years ago that went about it the right way. It's like, really? This is the way it is now? It wasn't like that back then.
Yeah, and to your point, I've even talked to people who've said that there were individuals who were doing everything properly, still in the process of seeking citizenship, right? And so they were basically standing in line. Then they see all these droves of people coming across the border, and they said, all right, I forget this, I'm coming over.
Yep.
So it encouraged those people who were standing in the line, had all their paperwork, doing everything properly, and then they said, "I'll forget about it. I'm all these people are going ahead of me."
Right.
It's like that mentality. You're standing in a line somewhere, picture, and you're doing everything right. You see droves of people, and you say, finally, you just say, "Oh, forget it.
Yep.
I'm going to go over."
Exactly. 855-839-1210 is how you climb in on the conversation. Coming up next, Donald Trump and what he had to say about being the House Speaker on a short-term basis, and also he endorses Jim Jordan from Ohio. We'll delve into that when we wrap up hour number 1 next on Kayal and Company.
It's the Saturday Night Free-for-All. Starting at 7 p.m., Talk Radio 1210 WPHT is live and local with Michael Pelka from 7 to 10 p.m.
Idiots are everywhere. You can't swing a cat without hitting an idiot these days. And I'm not endorsing cat swinging.
And Jimmy Fallon, 10 to midnight.
We have a White House where someone is capable of getting anthrax inside and wouldn't be capable of finding out who committed the crime.
The Saturday Night Free-for-All. Listen this weekend. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you feel like you're always looking for another energy boost? Well, skip the artificial choice and try increasing energy at the cellular level. Orosine from Rescue Natural Supplements helps our body produce the natural fuel to get rid of that stubborn feeling of fatigue. Plus, Orosine helps support a healthy heart and blood pressure. Right now, Orosine is buy one, get one free for our exclusive radio listeners. Just use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L. When placing that order, call them today at 800-26-LIVE. 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, be sure to use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L, for the special buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Orosine. This is a clinically proven, heart-healthy way to naturally boost energy level. Remember, use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L, at res-q.com and do it today.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
New York City's prophet of doom who wounded 10 people in a subway shooting is sentenced to life in prison. A residential building fire in Mumbai leaves at least 6 dead and nearly 40 injured. The Phillies are in Atlanta getting ready for Saturday's start of the division series against the Braves.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at the Sellersville Theater in Sellersville with Paul Wyants and Brendan Donegan. Saturday, November 18th. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show. Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show. Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, Hatfield Pork brings flavor to the table the whole family will enjoy and keep you moving through the day. With over 24 distinct flavors that can be ready in minutes, it's food you can feel good about serving. Explore endless meal possibilities with Hatfield's variety of marinated pork, ground sausage, ham, and bacon. Find your flavor with Hatfield. Visit simplyhatfield.com for recipes and to find a retailer near you.
So much fun to be had at Parks, P-A-R-X Casino. It's the $50,000 trick-or-treat treasures at Parks Casino. Win, and you're going to have a close encounter with the creepy claw machine, the claw. Winners will be selected every 20 minutes, Friday, October 20th. So you earn entries now through October 20th for your chance to play the creepy claw with the $50,000 trick-or-treasures only at the #1 casino, Parks Casino. Parks has the hottest entertainment, 3,200 state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games. Joe Conklin's Comedy Night. I love Joe. He's got some great new material coming out. So funny. And, of course, the best local bands every single weekend, only at 360 Lounge. Don't miss these top headliners coming soon to the Excite Center at Parks Casino. So, comedian Michael Blaustein, October 20th, Howie Mandel, November 17th, Air Supply, November 18th, and then Aaron Lewis, November 30th. Parks, P-A-R-X, the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment. Plus, of course, I love the free parking, valet parking, and remember, electric vehicle charging stations for all guests. Parks Casino and Sportsbook, this is how you win. Must be 21, gambling problem 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't let them silence you. Follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It's Kayal Company, 6:49 Friday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. What's on the cut sheet coming up 7:45 this morning? The GOP might have a GOV problem. We will tell you about that. And I was dead wrong on Americans and support for Ukraine. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. I was way off. We'll give you those details coming up in just a little bit. And also kicking off hour number 2, no pun intended, with one Philadelphia Eagle who says, you know what, Taylor Swift, stay away. You're not welcome in November. We're going to put up our own wall. We're going to block the Swifties from invading the link, and we'll get the financing for it. We'll get to that after Dawn's news coming up at 7:05 this morning. But putting a bow on the first hour, obviously the big story of the day is the border and the wall and things like that. Great picture on the New York Post front page talking about Joe Biden being a blockhead. It says blockhead wakes up, and they've got quotes from Biden from 3 years ago versus yesterday on the wall. So that's really good. But the other big story for the last week has been, obviously, Kevin McCarthy ousted as the Speaker of the House by Matt Gaetz and Republicans, and whether or not Donald Trump would actually entertain the idea. We'll get to Trump's endorsement in just a second. But yesterday, Donald Trump told Fox News that he would accept a short-term role as Speaker of the House to serve as, quote, a unifier for the Republican Party until lawmakers reach a decision on who should take the post. He said, quote, I have been asked to speak as a unifier because I have so many friends in Congress. If they don't get the vote, they have asked me if I would consider taking the speakership until they get somebody longer term because I am running for president. Quote, they have asked me if I would take it for a short period of time for the party until they come to a conclusion. I'm not doing it because I want to. I will do it if necessary, should they not be able to make their decision. He would take the speakership for a short, quote, 30, 60, or 90-day period, and he would only do it for the party, stressing that his focus is on his presidential campaign. So I think that would be unbelievably fascinating. It would be incredible content. And then, of course, the way he would be running the operation when it comes to going after Democrats with investigations. I mean, he could have a lot of fun for 30, 60, or 90 days. But I think it's a pipe dream because he has come out now and he has endorsed Jim Jordan for Speaker. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic. MAGA Man, speaking of Trump, sent us a tweet saying he was watching Fox News this morning, I guess the beginning of Fox and Friends, and they were all advocating for Steve Scalise. So he said that if they're all advocating for Scalise, then Jim Jordan is the answer and is the solution.
I was just going to say that. That is hysterical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think here's the thing. Steve Scalise is loved and beloved, but he's never been fully, I feel like he never fully healed after he was shot.
Yeah.
And now he's fighting a very serious cancer. And so I think in part, I think they're being kind. I just don't see him taking it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because, of course, everybody's praying for him and wishing him well, but that job is so consuming.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But when I was looking at the possibilities, I said, was it Tuesday or Wednesday's show, that Jim Jordan would be my number one choice, Byron Donald's number 2, And then I threw out a couple of other names as well. And it looked like initially that there was kind of a little bit of a surge and a groundswelling of support for Byron Donalds. And then it quickly, we saw conflicting stories. Yeah, Jim Jordan doesn't want it. Well, then he said he would consider it. He throws his name into the mix. And then everybody's kind of really rallied around him. And I think the thing about him is, and Trump says it, he's strong. Jim Jordan projects strength. Trump said, quote, in a post on Truth, Jim Jordan is strong on crime, borders, our military, vets, and the Second Amendment. Jim, his wife, Polly, and family are outstanding. He will be a great Speaker of the House and has my complete and total endorsement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of the endorsement that Ron DeSantis only dreams of having again.
You know what's funny to me is that there's been a lot of articles written and a lot of pundits have been saying, why didn't the Democrats do more to help Kevin McCarthy keep his speakership? And I kind of agree with that, because if they think Kevin McCarthy was hard to work with, how the hell do you think they're going to work with Jim Jordan?
He's like a bull in a china shop
So,
sometimes.
I just don't understand their thinking on this, that if they really were that outraged about this and, wanted to keep, the status quo going, that they would have tried harder to keep McCarthy. I get it. It's not their battle, but they could have done something.
Yeah.
And there's no question in my mind that whoever they made the next speaker was going to be far harder for them to work with than McCarthy was.
Well, I think it's, so that argument is, the devil Why not? From a Democrat standpoint. But I think it was too delicious and too irresistible to give up. And so that they loved the sight of the disarray and the dissension and that public display, of the battle. And so they wanted that. And so I think, to your point, I hope, Republicans just, shove it right back to them. But to me, that's that. I go back to that speech, and I know I think I talked about this yesterday, but when McCarthy had his old brown eyes blue, and he got up there and gave that speech, and some people, and I've been debating over this because people are like, oh, that was so classy and so elegant. And I said, okay, it was. And I felt bad for him, but he was revealing so much in that speech. And one of the little stories that he told was how he and Nancy made that deal, and that he said to her, they want me to make it so that I go for, one vote. One of them could just put up a vote to make me not speaker again. And she just said, well, just do it. No. Just go ahead. Just do it. Just do it.
Please don't bother me with such frivolity.
And okay? I've got your back. I've always got your back. That's and he told that story.
Yeah. Would she be enough a cause for concern if Nancy has your back?
Yeah. And so, dude, you got played.
Yeah.
You totally got played. Yeah, really? You believe Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, I don't feel bad at all for any of these
guys. That just shows, the fact that you just got played right there, and then she's, oh, sorry, I'm in California.
Yep.
I'm at the funeral, and everybody's silent. What did you expect?
Yep.
And I just hope, I'm glad he told that story so that all of the Republicans can look at that and go, yeah, they're just liars. They're going to say, just like Biden in the Oval Office yesterday, they're going to say whatever they're going to say. They're such a liar. So look at their actions and not their words.
Yep. Trump saying, speaking of words on Truth, he says, Congressman Jim Jordan has been a star long before making his very successful journey to Washington, D.C., representing Ohio's 4th Congressional District, respected by all. He is now chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. I think most people are on board with Jim Jordan. I got a few tweets of saying, yeah, he talks a good game, but doesn't get the results that he braggadociously aspires to achieve. But I think Jim Jordan is about as good as you are going to get. 855-839-1210. The number. Will come back. Kickoff hour number 2. Dawn has some news, and Taylor Swift, stay in Kansas City. Stay at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. You are not welcome November 20th at the Link. Wasn't me that said it. We'll tell you who did next.
We're introducing Wendy's newest addition to the morning lineup. Say hello to the Wendy's all-new English muffins. They're here and they're ready for breakfast. Choose between our tasty grilled sausage, a fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese, or that Applewood smoked bacon, fresh cracked egg and gooey cheese. All of that comes sandwiched between a warm English muffin. These English muffins are the perfect way to start the day. All you gotta do is pick one. Grab an English muffin for breakfast this morning. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's breakfast at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
If the market volatility of the past year has made you nervous about your retirement future, you're not alone.
So many people are waiting for the perfect time to retire. And those folks are going to be waiting a really long time, I hate to say, because there's no perfect time. The market is always unpredictable and volatile.
But that doesn't mean that it's hopeless. Jim Cipriotti has been helping people get to, through, and beyond retirement for over 20 years. And each week, he wants to help give you that freedom to retire. Listen to Freedom to Retire with Jim Cipriotti, now on Saturday mornings at 9 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And you know, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to them, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
Celebrate Faith and Liberty Day on William Penn's birthday, Saturday, October 14th at the Faith and Liberty Discovery Center, 5th and Market Streets in Old City. Enjoy free admission, free ice cream sundaes, giveaways, and meet and greet William Penn himself, plus a special appearance by 1210 Dom Giordano. Step inside and experience the Faith and Liberty Discovery Center, where the good book meets the history book. For more information, visit faithandliberty.org.
American history in a whole new light.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. What, you expecting something different? Whether you're looking for deep, insightful dives into the day's top sports stories, that's why we have guests, right, Nigel? Or simply how to get change for 100, you'll find it on the Tony Kornheiser Show. From football picks from the best prognosticators in the business, including a monkey, to real-time baseball playoff analysis, to traffic in an area where you don't live. We got you covered. My friends come on, and you know them. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Oh, yeah, Kelly Company. Straight up 7 o'clock Friday morning as we get hour 2 underway. Going to be a great weekend, folks. Going to be a great weekend. All sorts of good stuff. Touchy coming up 7:45 this morning. One last chance at some Andrea Bocelli tickets coming up at 9:20 this morning for our morning mystery movie clip. Been a great week of shows. We had the Trump impersonator, Sean Farash, on Tuesday. Bruno on Wednesday. Jason Whitlock, I thought, was outstanding yesterday.
He was.
You can go get all those on YouTube or the Odyssey app or the old school way of going to the website and downloading your podcast. So, been a good week. Very good week. 855-839-1210, the phone number. We'll get to this Taylor Swift Eagles story coming up. And also, I was wrong with most Americans and not wanting to support Ukraine when it comes to arms aid. We'll get to that story and my admission of being way off base. But let's get some news to kick off hour number 2. And for that, at 7:02, we go to the great Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. It's Friday morning, October 6th. Some dense fog advisories this morning, depending on where you are. So big changes coming up in your forecast. And we are sponsored this morning by Rhino Shield in the news. We've been updating you this morning on the 3 officers shot in Philadelphia during a domestic dispute in a very volatile situation. I'll just point out to you that many of the headlines this morning still say police kill dad, ... That's the headline, rather than 3 Philadelphia police officers shot.
No, of course.
Are you kidding? Oh, my God.
Police kill, that's the police kill dad.
Yep. And you wonder why I get steamed up about the media when it comes to the way they demonize police.
You mean the dad who had a tactical bulletproof vest on and
Yeah.
all this?
Well, that's
all
later.
These rounds of ammunition.
That's later in the story. So I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say they're not telling the details, but for those people who see a headline, a website, a tweet, all they see is
99% of people. Yep.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter?
Well, not on Twitter anymore. They don't do the headlines anymore. It's
Yeah, that's
just
true.
You have to write your own.
Yep.
Which could be dangerous.
Oh yeah.
or better. I don't
Yeah,
know.
or
I don't know
better,
how I could look at that both ways.
Absolutely.
It's not. It's not better. It's not better.
Depend on who your source is.
I don't know what Musk is doing. He's.
I'm not sure that he does either.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, we have the 3 Philadelphia. We were updating you on what happened in the Rawhurst section of Philadelphia. We have 3 Philadelphia police officers recovering this morning after a man opened fire on them. And 2 of those officers have since been released from the hospital. One officer still does, or I should say this, a sergeant and an officer have been released from the hospital. And a 3rd remaining officer is still hospitalized. He has serious injuries from being shot, but he's in stable condition. It all started with that frantic 911 call for help, a plea from a 12-year-old boy telling that 911 dispatcher that his father, his dad, had just shot his uncle. And the boy had reportedly said it started with some kind of a verbal argument over a video game. So at that point, the officers, they did know going in that this was a volatile situation. They were being told by the boy, who I believe stayed on the line with that 911 dispatcher. And they're praising the 12-year-old kid for calling, for composure, and as well for just giving all the information so they could be fully warned. But I think they could not have been ready for the fact that when they came in, they were fired upon. And as they were shooting back, the problem here we now know is that individual who they ultimately shot and killed, the dad, actually was first of all armed to the nines, but also had bulletproof gear and a bulletproof vest on.
I mean, he was dressed up like he was playing in a video game.
It's true.
It's amazing to me how many times video games ignite like rage out of people. There should be, we use that site studyfinds.org a lot for different topics on the show. I'd love to see what a study reveals on what it is that triggers people, no pun intended, the way they basically they go into a level of rage over a video game. Like if this is true, like as you're reporting here, that this started over a video game. We got officers getting shot because of a video game.
So allegedly, and Don, I'm sorry, I don't mean to step on your reporting here, but allegedly, his son was playing video games and it was super loud, and he told him to turn it down, and he wouldn't. Okay. So it wasn't over like, I want to play a video game. No, I want to play the video game.
Right.
His son was playing it.
Yeah.
He thought it was too loud.
Yeah.
Got into this argument with the boy's uncle, I guess was his brother or whatever,
Mhm.
and then shot him. Right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So the dad in this case is 42-year-old Michael Wang. And so ultimately when he engaged, he fired upon those 3 officers. They fired back. Ultimately, he was pronounced dead at the scene. His brother, the uncle, right now is still in critical condition in the hospital. The 12-year-old boy is okay. And now we're being told that there was a woman, perhaps the mom, who was in the house as well. So she was unhurt. But we're unpacking this as far as police now confirm that Wang, who was killed wearing that ballistic vest, armed with a .40 caliber Glock pistol, several loaded magazines, among the other items they've now taken from the scene as part of this investigation. We know also that the officers were all wearing and their body cams were rolling. So all of that evidence is there. And no doubt they can use these kinds of videos in the future for training videos of officers.
Sure.
To train them on the most volatile domestic call that you could get, clearly.
Yep.
So thank God these officers were obviously wearing their bulletproof vests and their gear, followed all the protocol by all accounts, and thank God they survived it, albeit 3 of them shot. So we we also have one of the other big stories of the day is the mystery surrounding this 38-year-old beloved DJ in Philadelphia, owned a shop as well that we now learn was looted in the looting that went, international and viral. But we don't know if there's a connection to that. But he's identified as 38-year-old John Hershock, hosting the Phillies tailgate Tuesday night. Many remembering him, speaking out about it. Huge Phillies fan, and are just many people just really devastated. His the one store, Art History in Northeast Philadelphia, that was the one broken into and looted last week. So many people are talking about this and why he was gunned down after leaving an event this week in Chinatown. So, we just, it's a mystery. They're not saying, was he stalked? Was he followed? Was this a robbery kind of mugging attempt? That this remains a mystery, and I just don't. It was Apple Tree Street at Tango nightclub that he left in Chinatown. So we're still wondering what's going on there. A lot of prayers for him because he sustained critical injuries and is on life support. So a lot of prayers for him. Let's talk about some of the other. There are so many stories for today that I want to bring to you, but one is Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman joined those United Auto Workers striking in Langhorne, speaking out from the picket line. That's a headline that we're talking about this morning. There's you can buy fresh Rocky merchandise at the bottom of the Art Museum steps because now they've moved the Rocky statue. It used to be at the top, now it's at the bottom of the steps.
Right.
They've opened a new store at the Philadelphia Art Museum, so some fun stories. I know you're going to talk moving forward about Taylor Swift, but I will tell you also that Travis Kelce's mom, Donna, is there, talking about the haters over Taylor Swift and reacting to the story that you're going to talk about later. So I'll just
I also have a
Kelsey Brothers story.
Taylor Swift admission to make.
Dun, 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 dun.
When we talk about this.
Oh, boy.
It'll be affecting my life next Friday, a week from today.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I'll tell you about it.
Ooh.
Not too proud about it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, some good news that I'll bring to you because we got the Phillies in Atlanta with the series starting tomorrow night. The Dancing on My Own, their theme, the Dancing on My Own singer, Callum Scott, says he will perform for the Phillies if they win the World Series.
If they win the
World Series, he says, yeah, absolutely. I'll come and perform in Philadelphia for the Phils.
See, I think what they should do is bring him in for Game 3.
I agree with you.
Have him sing the national anthem and sing that song, and then I will bet every dollar I have on the Phillies for Game 3 because there's no way they could possibly lose that.
I agree with you. What a low energy thing to say. Like, oh, if you win the World Series.
Like, what, you're going to sing it on Broad Street?
Yeah. Get Brazier on the blower right now.
Yeah,
and say,
where's Brazier at?
Get him down here for Game 3 at Citizens Bank Park.
The only guy, and actually, you know what? If we get to the World Series, and obviously this is depending upon his health, and if he can't do it, obviously I understand. But how great would it be if Charlie Manuel showed up to throw out the first pitch?
Aww.
I mean, that place will go bonkers.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I'm going to be the new Phillies director of marketing. I'm out of here, guys. Goodbye. As John Fetterman would say.
Good night, everybody.
Well, we are sponsored this morning by Rhino Shield. There's still time to protect and beautify your home with Rhino Shield before winter. Call our friend John Gilgee now. Take advantage of the biggest sale of this year. Call now. Never paint your home again. 844-RHINO-99, 844-RHINO-99. Thank you, Rhino Shield, for sponsoring our news this morning. And we do have a big change in the forecast. So although technically the high 77, we've got rain and wind moving in later today, this afternoon. That's going to cool us down for the weekend. Tomorrow, it's going to be a little raw, going to be a little rainy, and we're in the 60s for the weekend. By Sunday, 60 degrees is the high for Sunday, but we do clear out with a bright sunny day for your Sunday. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, John, thank you very much. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Daniel Valdez is a Gen Z video game guy, apparently. And Valdez, we'll bring him in here, apparently can relate to some of the rage that occurs with the youths with video games these days. What's going on? What do you got, Valdez? He's not there. He was there. We just texted. I said I'm going to come to you right after the news.
Why do we sound like we're in a?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're in a bubble again.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to need a bigger bubble.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry, I can't go to you.
That's all right.
That sounds terrible.
It's weird.
That's
I don't
all
know
right.
what's happening there.
No idea. All right. Well, Valdez says that he he's been one of the rage people before in video games, but he's never been shot or shot anybody. And he says he's a varsity esports athlete here, as in.
Does he make money off of it?
I don't think he makes money off of it, but I guess they've kind of glamorized the video game stuff now, like at a competitive level. I've actually seen it on some networks. I think ESPN carries it, where like there's legit like major prizes you can win and trophies, and some of these people become celebrities and they make a lot of good money. They've actually taken it to a level. And you think about where we are technology wise, that some of these gamers, they have their own YouTube channel. And you can sit there.
They make six figures.
Yeah, and you can watch them on YouTube playing the video game. Now, I think if you do that, you have to figure out what's wrong with your life and why you're sitting there watching somebody else play a video game. But there's obviously a demand and a market for it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I just think this all. I can't stand when people start, and I know this is coming. They're going to go, "Oh, it's a video game. Let's ban the." We're not going to just ban the guns. We're going to ban the video games. None of that works.
I know.
And so play the video games with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice. That's what I do all the time. And have the conversation and make sure that they're disciplined. If they're being too loud,
correct.
Close the bedroom door.
Remember in the 80s and 90s where people were trying to say that like television led to, you doing things in society that it's like, hey, what you see in that little box is not real. You can't do that in society. And it's like, well, if you have good parenting and your parents are present in your life, you'll probably at least have one conversation that, hey, TV, video games, movies, just because it's on there does not mean that's the way it's done out in the real world. And that was the thing.
Yeah, I mean, Nerf wars, how many times? My basement, like we must have 100 of those Nerf rifles and projectiles and all that stuff. Like,
guns.
It's so much fun.
Yep.
And so it's a reward. All that stuff is a reward. You do your homework, you do your job, you do everything. You help mom clean up after the dinner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a reward. Go. You can play video games now, or you can do whatever.
Yeah.
It's just about discipline.
Yep.
It's not about the video game.
And I remember as a kid going down to the local convenience store, and I used to get those. Remember the cap guns? Where you pull out and they would look like a legitimate handgun.
Yeah.
It was plastic, and you'd put the little powdered circle ring in it, and it was like your bullets, but it was cap guns. And a little bit of smoke would come out, and they were loud. And as a 10-year-old, you shoot one of those in somebody's face, and it's startling. But again, it's like with your parents, you're like, okay, you're not going to have a real gun, and you're not going to shoot people in society, so forth and so on. So it's just amazing that we're kind of coming back to this point, and that's all stemming from your news story this morning, which is tragic, especially with 3 officers being shot. 855-839-1210. All right, coming up next, Taylor Swift, Philadelphia, and I'm partly to blame for it. I have an admission to make next Friday with my daughters. We'll get to those details when we come back. Kayal and Company working our way towards what's on the cut sheet at 7:45, and we're back after this on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation, or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
Honey, I got a guy to fix our roof.
Oh no. The last time your friend recommended a guy, we had to get the repairs repaired.
It's not just any guy, it's PJ Fitzpatrick. Look, they have thousands of 5-star reviews and over 40 years of experience. PJ can fix leaky windows, broken siding, rotted trim, and damaged leaking roofs in just 1 day. Plus, PJ Fitzpatrick can even clean our gutters.
That's my kind of guy. What are you waiting for? Visit trustpj.com and set up an appointment today. TrustPJ.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Water quality continues to be a topic. Ensure your family is drinking clean, pure water with the Kinetico water system from Martin Water Conditioning. The Kinetico system removes all the impurities from your water. What comes out of the tap is crystal clear, all-natural, delicious water. Put the Martin Water Conditioning family's passion for water to work for you. Do what I did. Contact Martin Water Conditioning. Mention DOM 2023 to receive an exclusive offer. DOM 2023. Visit martinwater.com. martinwater.com.
Miller Lite has high hopes for the Phillies this season, so catch every game at the Fain & Goat in Glenolden with a $3.50 Miller Lite Pint Special. The Fain & Goat features an extensive menu with gastropub-style grub and a vast selection of local craft brews. Indulge in a late-night menu served on Friday and Saturday from 11 to 1 a.m. So enjoy every Phil's game at the Fain & Goat. The Fain & Goat in Glenolden, a proud partner of WIP's High Hopes Pod with James Seltzer and Jack Fritz. It's Miller time, Phillies fans. Celebrate responsibly.
I want you to come away with me, escape. We're heading to southern Italy on a gastronomical tour of the most beautiful coastline in the entire world, the Amalfi Coast. Join me for 12 magical days in luxury with the professionals once again from Conservative Tours. And yeah, they are the best. Nobody does it better than Conservative Tours, A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, best tour operator in all of Italy. We're going to take the high-speed jet foil to the Isle of Capri. So chic, such a chic island. Soak up the luxurious atmosphere, dramatic beauty of the Amalfi Coast. You look at it, you look at the images, heaven on earth. And that's the spellbinding impact this stretch of Italian coastline tends to have on visitors. But we're going to get the insider's look, right? Located in the Campania region of Italy, miles of majestic terrain, sky-high coastal cliffs, displays with vibrant vegetation, multicolored towns. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I can't wait. And all lined by the multicolored towns and the disarming turquoise waters of the Mediterranean. Come away with me. $52.67. It includes your airfare, luxury hotels, awesome dining events. Toll free. You got to call 888-733-9494. conservativetours.com. Secrets, best kept secrets of southern Italy. Join me next spring. See you on the Isle of Capri. conservativetours.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
What's on the cut sheet? Coming up 7:45 this morning as we roll on Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Kayal and Company. 855-839-1210. Dom Giordano's going to have Riley Gaines on the show today at 2:30. Just saw that. That'll be pretty cool. With a peek in for that. And speaking of athletic competition and athletes.
Look at us. We're all working together like one symbiotic station. I love that.
Is that what you dream of, Greg?
It is.
Host harmony?
You know, I do joke about, radio wars, and I do enjoy them, but I don't want them seriously.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the fact, that we're promoting what's coming up on the Dawn Show. We're promoting what's coming up with Dom and Rich.
Yeah.
I like it all.
That's right.
It's one. This station used to be very divided years ago.
Oh.
And I take pride in the fact that we're all, together as one.
Yeah.
Harmony.
I used to have my own radio battles back in the day.
Yeah, no,
and
it's
then
fine.
It just got exhausting.
I like radio battles. It's fine.
I used to beef with an older guy who thought he was, 25 and dyed his hair and went to concerts and stuff, but yeah, it's all right.
Dawn. Save him.
So, all right, I'm at the point now where I don't want to blow a gasket and create a spectacle, but I can't take much more of Taylor Swift. I swear to God, I really can't. I'm dreading this football weekend because I don't want to see her in the stands. I don't want to see her in the box. I don't want to see Donna Kelsey. I don't want to see Travis Kelsey. I almost don't even want to see Jason Kelsey. He's the least of my concerns. But it was Eagles corner Darius Slay. And this headline courtesy of the Daily Mail. Eagles try to exile Travis Kelsey's lover. A Philadelphia star, Darius Slay, insists team does not want Taylor Swift in the stands for the Chiefs game because they keep winning with her there.
So she's the lucky charm.
She's 2-0. And look, I think they would probably be 2-0 in this little stretch without her.
I was just going to say. They made it to the Super Bowl last year without her.
They're kind of a good team.
They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they beat us. So the rematch will be coming up on Sunday, November the 20th, Eagles and the Chiefs. And Taylor Swift has been disinvited from the Super Bowl rematch when her boyfriend Travis Kelsey's Chiefs travel to Philadelphia to play the Eagles. The Chiefs are 2-0 with Swift in the house. And while it's hard to credit her for the victories, Eagles cornerback Darius Slay isn't taking any chances. Big play Slay says, Taylor Swift, she might not miss a game this year. She might not. Slay said on his podcast, because as we know, everybody has a podcast. And it looks like the Chiefs are 2-0 with her. When we play her, I know we play them at home. Taylor, do not come to the game. Do not come to the game because you seem like you bring the energy of winning. So do not come to that game. And as we know, the Eagles had enough of an issue with the Chiefs last year in the Super Bowl, a game that probably the Eagles should have won if it wasn't for a couple of mistakes. And once again, we are going to be clobbered over. I'll tell you, there are some stories that just don't go away, like the Bud Light story, Dylan Mulvaney. There's just some things that just have legs, and they just stay forever or for well over extended periods of time where we all reach our exhaustion level. We're only 2 weeks into Taylor Swift. But I've reached my tipping point. And I'll tell you what, on Sunday, if she's at one of the games that are nationally televised, I will put on the Red Zone channel instead. And if I am forced to have any sort of coverage, I'm probably just going to mute my television or go grab a beer or go to the bathroom or call and order a pizza. I just can't take any more of it, Dawn. Greg, I can't take any more. They're jamming it down our throats. And that's kind of one of the reasons we had Jason Whitlock on yesterday, is because he believes that the NFL is being pretty much run over by the left, where you have all of these celebrities and, left-wing messaging. And we know the power that Swift has. She just registered 35,000 new Democrat voters.
Yeah, Jimmy on the YouTube chat is just wondering why, as he puts it, conservative radio, I would argue this is free speech radio, why does conservative radio care about Taylor Swift? Somebody take a moment and explain it. I mean, she's the most popular person in the world.
Her era's tickets are, what does she have? 100 million?
Yeah.
I mean, she just made another record. So no, she's a huge star. I don't really get all the hoopla, truthfully.
That's what I've been saying.
I mean, the only time I might care is when we play the Chiefs. So when do it's November 20th and November 20th we're at Kansas City, right? It's not home.
According to Anthony Dorenzo.
Philadelphia Eagles. I'm looking at NFL.
Well, this story at Daily Mail is wrong then. I thought it was a home game.
It says at Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, then it is. Well, then she'll definitely be there.
So,
because you know what I do love? I have to laugh. Travis obviously has a box, right, in Kansas City.
I don't want her for the Eagles game, period. They could play that game on Pluto. If the Eagles and Chiefs play, I don't want Swift there. But
wait a minute. And where is she going to get a box? Because Jason... She's not going to be in Jason. Jason, first of all, does not have a box. Donna and the family are always in the stands.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason here in Philadelphia at the home games doesn't have a box.
Okay.
So the way to box her out, she's not going to sit in the stands. So don't anybody let her in your box.
Right.
If you let her in the box, it's on you.
Yeah.
So keep her out of the box.
So Jason Kelsey's family doesn't have a box here in Philadelphia because the Dorenzo family probably took that box.
Yeah.
Dorenzo's always at the games. He lives a better life than I do.
I know. I think he's that guy who just comes in and he like, hi, and they're like, oh, Anthony, and he just like blends right in.
Yeah.
Because he's at all these, he ends up in people's boxes.
I know. He was at the Phillies game,
Eagles.
Yeah.
He has that. He could be like an international spy. He's basically like the James Bond Right? He can just kind of make his way in.
So here's the other admission I have to make. So, by the way, my girls are up here. They're on fall break.
Aww.
It started October 5th, so they're going to be here from yesterday through the 15th. So, again, another weekend. So 2 weekends ago I had them, and this weekend it's going to rain again. Every time they come here, it's
only
cold
Saturday.
and damp. Oh, only Saturday? All right, good enough. But
Sunday's cold, but 60,
yeah,
but
that's
sun.
good. It'll finally feel like fall. We'll get some nice, cool, crisp autumn air with the sun out. I love that. But next Friday, a week from today, I am taking them to see the Taylor Swift concert movie. So I think it comes out. I don't know if next Friday is the opening date, but that's when we are going. And I'm taking them to the theater, and you can actually watch the concert live in a movie theater. And I think it's a live concert. I don't know that it's taped. But anyway, we will be going.
It's taped, dude.
Is it taped?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe they do like a simulcast or they like YouTube with us on the show.
It's a concert movie where they recorded.
Okay, I have no idea.
It's like
how
a
this
behind
works.
the scenes.
Yes. I am going to need. I am going to need one of the.
He's like 90.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm taking the girls.
I'm
Is this
taking it.
happening right now?
Yes.
Is this
I got no
girls?
idea.
Is Taylor behind there?
Kristen gave me the idea. She says it's out. You should take them. They'll love it. And I'm like, all right. So I will get my first. Just as I've reached peak physical exhaustion for the Swifties and Taylor Swift, I get thrown into the deep end next Friday. I hope that theater serves alcohol.
So, by the way, that's what I was referring to. The Eras Tour tickets have surpassed 100 million globally in the advanced ticket sales. So you are one of the individuals that...
I'm an enabler.
You enabled that.
That's great. I mean, I'm not a cancel culture guy. I'm not trying to get Taylor Swift canceled. Not that I would be able to. But now I got to go to that next Friday. I mean, it's going to be the whole thing, the popcorn, the soda, sitting down. And I love going to the movies, and I love taking my girls to the movies. But of all the things I could take them to see, I think I would rather actually take them back again to see Frozen for the 17,000th time. And if you're a parent with daughters, you know that song is stuck in your head.
Bill wants to know on the YouTube chat if you're a Swiftie now.
I am not.
What if he... Okay, here's what I predict. You're going to go with your girls, and they're going to be thrilled because it's Friday, October 13th.
Oh, that's true.
You're going to go with the girls. They're going to be thrilled. You're gonna fall in love. And then you're
with
going
my
to
daughters or Taylor Swift?
No, with your daughters loving Taylor Swift. So then that's going to make you like her. You're going to like this movie. You're going to like Taylor Swift, and you're going to be like a born-again Swiftie.
Yeah.
And then you're going to come back to us
Then I'll have a
the following Monday.
A Biden-Harris bumper sticker on my car.
Next week, I'm putting in an edict, and I usually don't do edicts.
Yes.
Next week, I'm putting in an edict that if any radio show on this station talks about Taylor Swift, I'm yanking them off the air, and we are.
Yes.
We're going to become a jazz station.
I'm fine with that. I actually applaud you for
on
that.
Monday, October 16th, I do want to hear Monday morning. I want to hear Nick Kayal.
I don't care.
Oh, that's going to be the big take.
I have to. Yeah, I mean, I want to know.
Yeah, no, I don't care.
Well, he said next week he's putting in the edict. So Monday the 16th we would be post edict.
I just want to go a full week.
Unless you're going to extend it like Title 42.
Without giving an S about what Taylor Swift does.
I know. So you're reaching the point I am then, right?
Well, no, I'm reaching the point where I agree with you. She's the biggest star in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, talking about her is, like, she's news.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, enough already.
Yeah.
This
You're
movie...
with the guy in the YouTube chat that says enough.
Well, I wasn't at first, but now I am. Now I am. Now that we've wasted 10 minutes on this, I feel like I'm with the YouTube.
Stop it!
I'm with the YouTube chatters who are like, why are you talking about this?
But you understand what is happening here. You understand that this movie screening in thousands of cinemas across 100 countries, and the most meaningful electric experience of superstar Taylor Swift's life so far. The Eras Tour concert, Nick Kayal will be there.
In attendance.
And then in attendance with his twin little girls. And something will it's like a trans Nick.
Yeah.
And it will transform him.
Yeah.
And he will be a new man. And he's going to go,
Yeah.
shake it off, and he'll be singing.
All right, next week.
The big reason I bring her up and why we brought her into this was because, the political aspect of what she's able to do for the Biden administration. I mean, she's registered. So like the conservative guy on YouTube chat, here's the tie-in. She just signed up 35,000 new registered Democrats. Why is that an issue on this show? Because we're already outnumbered.
Guy, you don't have to. I'm just kidding. Like, you don't have to explain why you're. I sent you that story. Like,
yes.
Obviously, I want to. But next week, every show, I'm putting down this edict at 7:32.
Send out
this
the email
morning.
too.
I'm sending out not one show mentions Taylor Swift, or we're going to become a classic rock station.
Oh man, 1210 The Hawk. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. We'll come back, work our way towards what's on the cut sheet. And apparently, most Americans disagree with me on Ukraine. I'll admit I was wrong. Coming up next. Stay right there.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. Talk to your cardiologist today. You may be glad you did.
John was compensated for his time. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
There are so many discounts and offers at Cherry Hill Volvo. This 30-second spot is not enough time to share all the benefits of purchasing or leasing a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo. Discounts and incentives for this month start at $5,000 and can be as high as $11,000. Purchase or lease a new Volvo from Cherry Hill Volvo now and take advantage of these fabulous discounts and offers. Visit us soon for the best selection of Volvos. The entire Cherry Hill Volvo team is waiting to partner with you.
Medicare open enrollment begins October 15th. Are you ready to explore your options? In Pennsylvania, you can get free, personalized assistance from PA Medi. PA Medi at your local area agency on aging is your trusted, unbiased source for Medicare information. They'll help you compare benefits and plans in your area and could even help save you money. Call PA Medi at 1-800-783-7067 today.
Supported by a grant from the Administration for Community Living, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month, a savings of nearly $300 a year.
Whether you need a $100,000 policy or a $10 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. In a hurry? Don't worry. With SelectQuote, you can get up to $2 million in instant, affordable, same-day coverage with no medical exam.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-637-9116. That's 1-800-637-9116. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-637-9116. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. Oh, thank you. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of hospitalization from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. I've said this from the start. I'm taking the Rams at +4.5. Now listen, it's not me saying the Rams are going to win. I don't know. But I don't like the spread in this game. So, Rams +4.5 in this. Go to FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel.com/Greg to sign up right now. You can bet on everything from spreads, player props, over-unders, and so much more. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel is the official partner of the NFL And he's the official partner of 1210 WPHT, 21 and over. President PA. First online or only wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling on Harleysville to follow 1210 WPHT in the free Odyssey app.
Download it now.
You show us everything you've got. You keep on dancing and the room gets hot. You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy.
Kayal and Company, 7:37 Friday morning. What's on the cut sheet? Well, you're going to find out in about 8 minutes. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. 855-839-1210, the number. What a song. All right, Twitter blowing up over the conversation we were just having. Our buddy Road Warrior, retired detective for 35 years in Philadelphia, says, I'd pay to see Britney Spears knife dance before Taylor Swift. All day, every day.
Oh,
They were fake knives.
They were.
That is a strong contender for who on Twitter.
Very much
already
so.
at 7:38.
That was good.
Very much.
Road
By the
Warrior,
way,
you got us.
she's still my number one in the death pool.
Yeah.
Aw. I love Britney Spears.
She's not long for this world.
Yeah.
I feel.
Unfortunately, I don't wish that on anybody. But I mean, she's literally breaking down in front of our eyes, and we're like, oh look, she's dancing with knives. Isn't she cool?
Yeah.
They weren't real knives.
No. She doesn't do
Not
much.
the only thing in that photo that wasn't real. But
yeah, but it's amazing. Timberlake's career really took off once he got rid of Britney.
Yeah.
Amazing how that works. 855-839-1210.
Yeah, I'm a fan of his too, but I have to say we learned a lot
Yeah.
about him. He kind of threw her under the bus.
A little bit, yeah. Was it an electric bus, though? That's what we need to know. And by the
Oh,
way,
my goodness.
he also owns a home in Nashville as well, as everybody else does these days. So I was wrong yesterday. Greg brought up a question. I believe this was in the back portion of the cut sheet segment around 8:15-ish yesterday. And Greg was playing some sort of audio connected to, Biden and Ukraine and funding for Zelensky and things like that, billions upon billions of dollars. And Greg said something to the effect with a question of, what do you think the support level is for funding Ukraine right now? And I said, I thought it would be pretty close to a coin flip. And I think, threw out a number. I said, I'll say 54% are in support of it and 46% are not.
Well, let me refresh your memory of how we got on this topic.
Okay.
Karine Jean-Pierre said this in the press briefing, not yesterday, but the day before.
To make sure that commitment to Ukraine was there, he wants to continue it. And this is important to the American people. This is important for our nation to continue that support to Ukraine. It is a direct connection.
Okay, so that was the question, and I said it was probably about 50-50, and then I said about 54% say yes, and 46% probably oppose it. Well, The Hill has an article with some polling, and I was dead wrong. Fewer Americans now are supporting the arming of Ukraine than ever before, this poll shows. The share of Americans across the political spectrum who support sending arms to Ukraine has dropped, according to a Reuters poll that was released on Thursday. The poll, conducted Tuesday and Wednesday, showed only 41% of respondents said they agreed that the United States should provide weapons to Ukraine, which is down from 65% of respondents who said the same just a couple of months ago in a June 2023 survey. So I said 54%. It was actually 41%, and it's down from 65%. So it's about 33%. A decline in just about 3 or 4 months here. That decline in support for sending weapons to Ukraine extends across parties. Democratic support dropped from 81% in June to 52% in October.
Which is basically what I said.
Yes, which you did. And Joe,
I didn't have numbers.
Well, no.
But I did say I think people are weary.
Yes.
With the economy and everything.
I mean, no matter what the topic is, no matter when the poll has been conducted recently, Joe's losing support in everything he's about. I mean, whether it's a fit to serve with his age, whether it's do you think Joe Biden and the Biden family are corrupt? Should Joe run again? How's the economy? Ukraine, the border? This is why we have been talking about momentum. And now there are, I believe, in 10 out of 11 polls recently taken, Donald Trump either has the lead or is beating Joe Biden. And we said we take polls with a grain of salt. But when you get 11 of them and 10 of them are bad for Joe Biden, you start to really get this feeling that maybe now more than ever, Trump is possibly stronger than ever. Mm-hmm. And if you were of the belief that Trump can't win the general election in 2024, you might be coming off of that stance, which is me right here raising my left hand. Because I thought, and I said when the show launched, I said, he's dead on arrival if he's the Republican primary winner. I don't believe that to be the case anymore as he continues to gain momentum and Joe is fizzling out like a firecracker on July 4th, literally and figuratively.
Which just shows you that with the Democrats, I mean, we've never had this much of a loser. I mean, look, everywhere you look, this is a disaster. Mm-hmm. This administration.
Yep.
Every place you look, there are no wins. Mm-hmm. 0 wins. It's a total and utter disaster. And so the only thing that the Democrats appear to be good at is working together to win regardless of any cost. They'll lie, they'll win,
yep.
Right? They come together.
Right.
This should be a wake-up call to all Republicans because truthfully, our leadership as far as the GOP is a disaster. Mm-hmm. The party is a disaster. People need to come together on the grassroots level.
Yep.
And especially, we got November 7th is right around the corner.
I know.
And people need to wake up and get it together and understand that pushing for your local school board, your local elections, this all matters because you'll get it together. It has to be grassroots. The GOP leadership, truthfully, they're never Trumpers. They don't seem to want Trump.
Right.
And they're part of the problem. They're part of the swamp. Like Kevin McCarthy, we saw him admitting he's making deals with Pelosi and the institution, and I trusted the institution, i.e. the swamp. Mm-hmm. So the people need to come together in a grassroots way and push for change in America and true leadership and fixing our economy and making America great again.
Well, you also got to get a change with the RNC, too. I mean, McDaniel's got to go. Give me a break with her. But, you know, in 2020, I think the narrative was, it's not that Joe Biden has support. It's not that people love Joe Biden. It's not that people were voting for Joe Biden. People were voting against Donald Trump. And they did that, and they got what they wanted, and now this is what you signed up for. Just like in big blue cities. You vote D, you deal with the crime. That's what you signed up for. The question will be, in 2024, will the same amount of people vote against Trump? Not vote for Biden, because they weren't for Biden the first time around. And now that they see he's a disaster, they certainly cannot be for Biden a second time around. But will they be so blinded by his failures and so wrapped up in their Trump derangement syndrome and hatred for the man that they vote for Joe again?
Well, why do you think it's such a battle right now that in Pennsylvania, our lawmakers, I mean, they were yesterday, again, they're battling over Republicans want voter ID. So they put that into the bill. The Democrats are trying to sneak in all kinds of provisions about mail-in votes. They don't want in-person voting. They want, you know, how many of us in Pennsylvania, how many of us did not ask for something in the mail, and we got it in the mail? Might happen to my husband, happened to me. I never asked for a mail-in ballot. Why are we getting these in the mail? What's going on here? This is a battle. This battle right now, we have to pay attention. That's happening in Harrisburg among Pennsylvania lawmakers. The Democrats are all over this. Mm-hmm. And they know that whatever legislation they can get through for mail-in balloting, but they are putting the kibosh, they did it again yesterday, to put the kibosh on any kind of voter ID. Mm-hmm. We know that voter ID, i.e. Florida, worked. And, oh, what a coincidence. You saw the red wave. The only place the red wave happened was, the same state where they had, voter ID. Mm-hmm. What a coincidence.
Yep. Very well said. 855-839-1210, 7:45 right on the dot. We get to a Friday installment of What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's On the cut sheet!
Yes, what's on the cut sheet on this Friday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill Volvo, where relationships matter. Streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button. Also, please hit the subscribe button. We're like 26 subscribers away from 4,700.
Hey-o.
So why don't we, if you have not done so yet, please hit the subscribe button. Can you be the 4,700th subscriber?
You know,
that's something to strive for.
It is. I think, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but
yeah.
When we get to 5,000 subscribers, the 5,000th subscriber should get a free Kayal and Company shirt.
Well, there's some wrangling that might go on with giving things away on.
Oh no!
That's not
legally.
over the air, legally. But look. You know, I'm a guy who believes in fairness. So, yeah, if you can be the 5,000th, we can work something out. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. All right. I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said, Nick Kayal, about people not voting for Biden, but against Trump, because that is exactly what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said yesterday. He was at an event with the police in Florida.
Okay, I like it.
Standing up there with, I think, the sheriffs of maybe Tampa or somewhere down there, somewhere in the Florida, and said this about 2020, about how nobody voted for Biden. They voted against Trump. This is cut 7.
A voter that goes to 10 rallies, their vote counts the same as somebody that's unenthusiastic and then goes and votes. And we just have to understand that. And people will act like 2020, they're like, Biden was such a disaster. But here's the thing. I don't think anybody voted for Biden, okay? They were voting against Trump. That was why they did it. I mean, let's just be honest. He energized Democrats. You could have John Kennedy walk through the door right now, and he wouldn't energize Democrats as much as Donald Trump does. That's just the reality. What did we do in Florida with these Democrats? We defeated these Democrats. We left the Democratic Party in Florida in a pile of ruins. They're dead. In fact, if you go back 2019, 2018, or 2019, 2020, the Democrats had like 300,000 more registrations than we did as Republicans. And partially because of our leadership during COVID, that really started to change. So by the time I got reelected in November, we had 300,000 more Republicans than Democrats. And we never had more R's than D's in Florida history. We did that with me being governor. But here's the best part. 300,000 advantage. Today, that advantage is 600,000. We've added another 300,000 advantage in 1 year. I mean, are you kidding me? Yes, ma'am.
That's a pretty big swing in one state in a short period of time. And I do think he's actually spot on with that assessment of Biden against Trump. But here's the reality of the situation is you look at that. He's right. Trump is so polarizing to those that, like, I think, and I've seen my mother-in-law like this, where the hatred for the man is so real that it turns off the logical component of their brain. Like, they don't care that the economy is worse under Joe. They don't care that inflation is higher or crime is up. They say it's still better than the alternative. And that's honestly a sick, warped, twisted way of thinking about it. But that's what he invokes out of those people. I cannot emphasize it enough. And I know I'm not the only one that has family members or relatives or friends that are Democrats. And you know what I'm talking about. You bring up that name to them, and it just goes from 0 to 60.
John brings up a good point on the YouTube chat. Daniel and Natasha, if you can do this, if you can just roll back like a second of the DeSantis clip. John says it looks like DeSantis has all short cops behind him, so he looks tall.
No.
So he looks taller.
All right,
that's insane.
I want to see. I want to see if that's. I want to see if that's the
things
case.
that people notice.
I can't imagine that would. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's a woman. I mean, the cop on the left is a little taller than him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he does look equal to them. And we know he's not a man of tall stature.
So
he's like 5'9", 5'10".
He's just like me.
Yeah. He was on Bill Maher last week, and he had cowboy boots on. And
Yeah,
he had those on just to, give himself a few more inches, right?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, don't they make dress shoes that can be elevated higher? Like you put like an insole in them or something?
Yeah.
And I was getting tweets about that video. Can we hear just a little bit of him? I don't even care what he's saying. He sounded like he was real high pitch elevated. Did his voice sound like he was very young there? Or he was, I don't know if it's just when he gets animated, he gets to a higher pitch.
I don't know. I can try the.
Okay.
Let me see if I can.
In Florida, with these Democrats, we defeated these Democrats. We left the Democratic Party in Florida in a pile of ruins. They're dead. In fact, if you go back 2019, 2018,
he does sound younger.
2020, the Democrats had like 300,000 more registrations than we did as Republicans. And partially because of our leadership during COVID, that really started.
He's a great speaker, but his delivery and his pitch and his tone are a little tough.
Off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little tough to deal with. I'm not saying RFK tough, but it's he could be a little hard to listen to.
I mean, yeah. Sorry, Don.
No, as far as Florida goes, I was just looking up whether or not, because we saw this mass exodus of people leaving the West Coast, the left coast, leaving even the East Coast and moving to Florida.
Yep.
And there was a poll where the number one destination of Pennsylvanians, for example, going to Florida, and a lot of East Coast people going to Florida.
It's my goal.
So I also wonder I wonder, Tony Bruno is there, a lot of our friends and family are there. But I do wonder if that exodus amid COVID also helped the voter registration for the R's that he talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Of course
right?
it did, yes.
Which is interesting because if it did, and you had people that moved to Florida and flipped from D to R, that's not what happens in Georgia. That's not what happens in Tennessee. I saw it firsthand in Nashville. The amount of people that relocate from the Northeast to Nashville, and in part because, and look, Tennessee weather's much better than Pennsylvania, but it's not Florida. It's the Mid-South. It's not the Deep South. You don't get the Florida and Deep South Georgia weather year-round that you do in Tennessee. But those people still go there and vote D, which is fascinating. Yeah. In total contrast to what apparently might have happened in Florida.
Your big take this morning was on the Biden border wall. Yes, I know
Daddy owes you.
It's the Trump border wall. I get it, but now all of a sudden the Biden administration wants to bring it back. Because he knows it's popular. As you can mention, and you played just one clip in your big take, so I have a few more. KJP was asked a ton of questions about this during this, and not just by Peter Doocy, although I do have the clip with Peter Doocy. Let's start with NBC's Peter Alexander, who asked about Biden building the border wall and saying walls don't work, everything you said. NBC News, of all places, bringing that up again. This is cut 12, Natasha.
When we have more to share on his speech, we certainly will do that. But yes, the president is going to make a major speech on Ukraine, and when we have those information, we'll certainly share that. Yeah, Peter.
Rita, just want to follow up very quickly. You said that it's not new, but to be clear that this was posted on the Federal Register overnight on October 4th. So just to be clear about this, the president earlier today said that he was asked, does the border wall work? He said no. But in this statement that was posted within the last 24 hours, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary says there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States in order to prevent unlawful entries into the United States. So who's right? The statement from the DHS Secretary overnight or the President's comments today saying they don't work?
So a couple of things. Yes, it showed up on the register today, but the announcement, this is not new. This is from 6 months ago.
Well, it is new because the waiving of the laws actually didn't happen.
But this is something that was out back, that the DHS was put out back in 6 months ago. So and now they announced.
Did they waive the laws 6 months ago?
Well, what I'm saying is DHS announced this back in June that the agency would do so. They actually said that they would do that back in
They moved forward with it today, but the initial announcement was 6 months ago by waiving the laws. So that's what's new today. Understood. So
Yes.
the statement when
Just
he
wanna
says
make sure we're
presently
clear on
was
that.
filed. So when he said there is presently, are you saying when he says there is presently, he was referring to 6 months ago or referring to the date of which it was filed?
What I can
10/4?
tell you is DHS announced this back in June, that they were going to move forward with this. That's what I can share with you. That's what I know is to be true and is to be fact. Look, I can speak for the president. The president said he was asked directly, he doesn't believe a border wall is effective.
Does he have a disagreement with his Department of Homeland Security secretary?
What I can tell you, what the president, I want to tell you what the president said and what your colleague asked him. He said, no, he doesn't believe that the border wall is effective.
Speaking in direct contradiction to what his own
I know,
Homeland
I hear
Security
you.
secretary
I hear you.
says.
I'm speaking for the president.
Remember,
Wow.
this is
NBC.
This is NBC News.
Yeah, it's not Fox News.
So it's interesting because on this subject, he gets the Biden administration gets shrapnel from all ends because the right is coming at him by saying, "Wait a minute, you said this doesn't work." The left is coming because they don't want the border wall.
Right.
So like this is a no-win situation for Biden. This is a bad political situation.
It's bad. It's a very bad PR as well.
Yep.
And it's very concerning when an NBC reporter knows the law and everything and the details that have transpired and played out over the last 6 months better than the lady who's up there who's supposed to have these answers.
Yep.
Like, do you think they ever sit back and when she gets just destroyed up there and they come up with like little sit-down conference room sessions where it's like, hey, here's how I need you to pivot, or here's what you hit him with? Like, do they coach her up, or has she been left out there to die? Because she hasn't gotten any better.
She's not wrong. I mean, I saw this stuff. These battles, she's right. If you look at it, this has been going on. So she's not wrong. She's just horrible at delivering the lines.
She is.
Because truthfully, if I were up there, I would say, this battle, you guys haven't been paying attention. Throw it back at them. She needs to say, you all clearly have not been paying attention. This has been back and forth. We've been battling over this. This has been in the courts. And CBP, Congress did, in fact, approve it. And the money was there. And we've been battling this. At some point, they won this battle. And then, but the real question here, what happened this week? That's what they need to, that's the clutch point. They used Homeland Security, the Biden administration, to waive all of these lawsuits, all of the red tape.
Yep.
They cleared away the red tape. So she keeps going to all the other stuff that was going on, but where they need to hone in on, why did Mayorkas, why did you clear away and wipe away all that red tape? You had dozens of federal lawsuits that could have tangled this up for years. And that's why, truthfully, I didn't report that. I mean, we saw it. We just didn't report on it because it seemed like, oh, well, there's no way they're going to let that happen.
Right.
There's so many entangled dozens of different federal lawsuits, the environmental groups, da-da-da-da. We just thought, oh, Biden's never going to let it happen. That's what the progressives thought. But something changed.
Yeah. Dawn, I would argue that you could go in there today and do that job better than she does with on-the-job, on-the-fly training. Like, I could picture Dawn, give Dawn like 1 weekend to prepare for that job, read notes, go through prep cards, send Dawn out there next Monday morning. She would do better than Karine Jean-Pierre has been doing for what now? She's been in this role for a year and change because it was part
Well, thanks for saying that, but I could never work for Joe Biden. Well, because I'd be like, yeah, he's a loser. It's a disaster.
So I'm just saying the White House press secretary in general.
No, I mean, it's a tough job, and I think they all, what you realize, we've talked about Jen Psaki, or talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, you talk about any of these individuals, what you realize is it's a tough job, but she's just so bad at it.
She is. Yeah.
She's incompetent.
Yeah.
A little bit more from this, Natasha and Daniel. I want to pick up right where we left off here.
I'm saying that he has said that he does not believe a border wall is effective. That's what he was asked. He has said that for some time now, and it still remains to be the case. He asked, right? He asked Congress multiple times. His team has asked Congress to reappropriate the funds. They refused to do that. We're going to comply by law.
You asked the president on our behalf then, in the absence of our ability to do that, whether he disagrees with the statement that there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct
I'm
physical
happy to
barriers.
take that back. I'm happy to take that back. Go ahead.
Karine, again on the wall, Mexico's president is saying that the plans to move forward, quote, are contrary to what President Biden had been proposing. Has the president addressed this with Mexico? Have you guys? Has he?
He just addressed it in the Oval.
He's spoken to the Mexican leader.
I hear you, but that was just came out, right? I'm assuming that he just made that statement. Correct? You guys just saw him. He was meeting with his national security advisors, right? With the new chairman. So, first of all, you heard directly from the president. He said that he does not think a border wall is effective. So you heard directly from the president on that, as the president of Mexico is speaking to, right? So you heard directly from the president. I don't have a call to read out. The president has been busy meeting with his national security team. I don't have a call to reach out. As you know, members of his team here at the White House they went down to Mexico. They did a delegation and went down there and had meetings. I don't have a call to read out from the president.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
Well, no, I was going to say there's two things I would do to put her in like the checkmate position on a chessboard. Number one, just flat out have the numbers of the border crossings under Trump versus Biden and say, Karine, how can you make the case that the wall does not work? Yeah. That would be like Peter Doocy checkmate number one. And then checkmate number two, and this is more of just an aha gotcha moment, but I think it needs to be said. Karine, we were told that your administration viewed the wall to be racist and xenophobic. Why would the wall in 2023, now under your administration, not be deemed racist and xenophobic? She would have nothing to say. She'd have no answer, and she would have egg on her face from Joe Biden.
Well, that's what's so infuriating about this is that she went into this press conference knowing that this was going to be the big story that everybody was going to ask her about, and she was ill prepared for it.
This would be like me showing up on a Monday knowing that the big story is Taylor Swift, and I had no idea that the big story was Taylor Swift.
I see what you did there. You brought it all back full circle.
There you go.
I'm going to go to cut 8 here, Natasha and Daniel. She claims, KJP that is, that she hasn't seen the notice of DHS Secretary saying that the border wall is necessary. Cut 8.
If the border wall is ineffective, why is the Homeland Security Secretary saying that it's necessary to prevent unlawful entries into the United States?
I have not seen that full statement. I know. I hear you. I'm just saying I have not seen his full statement on that. What I can speak to is for the president. The president's been very clear that he doesn't believe it's effective. He answered that question of your colleague. That's what I can speak to. That's what we're going to talk about. And we've actually said there are smarter ways and more effective ways in dealing with this.
Oh, like sending like 2,500 more additional troops for clerical and administrative tasks.
It's unbelievable.
Which is amazing to me. They send more people down there, and it's never to really protect on the front line. And they almost want to make it sound like they're not sending people down there to be confrontational, which is the complete opposite of what Trump would do. Like Trump would have people lined up there with basically armed weapons and do not enter signs.
It's she should just go out there. I mean, I know it can't. Press secretaries can't be honest. They just can't.
No.
Their job is to
spin
shape a narrative
and shape the narrative and toe the line of whatever party they're representing. But to be honest with you, she should have just come out there and said, you know what? We think that this is like we need this.
Mm-hmm.
We need this to happen.
Yeah,
Trump was right about this whole thing,
right?
And we need this to happen. So that's why
it's one thing to
that's
right.
the truth, by the way.
Absolutely,
sorry.
no. It's one thing to be wrong. It's another thing to be wrong, then be in denial, and then go with what people were telling you was the right way to do it, and you still publicly can't say you're wrong.
What she needed to do was to come out and say, we as the Biden administration, we don't believe that this is the answer. It's not the final answer. However, we know that during this specific area of about 20 miles, we know that we have to shore up this specific area because we have an acute, immediate problem right here. This is a huge border wall, obviously, that goes from the West Coast all the way, down along California, Arizona, Texas, etc. This is a Texas border issue.
Right.
This is where we know that we have a real problem. So we're going to shore it up and then come up with an analogy. It's to say, look, we're just plugging a small hole here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Band-Aid approach. It certainly does not fix the problem. We've never thought that this border wall fixed anything, but this is a short-term solution that we're looking at because we have an immediate issue going on. We're looking at the numbers. We're being smart about it.
Yep.
And so that would show if she did that and could explain that in an effective way, she could then sound reasonable. Like, we're looking at all the stats. We're listening to the Border Patrol. And we're obviously not stubborn about, it's not about politics.
Mm-hmm.
It's about answering the immediate need for Americans and for our safety.
Yep.
That's all she just has to craft that in such a way to talk about a Band-Aid approach that's just an immediate small patch.
Right.
A patch is not an ultimate fix or solution policy-wise. That's all she has to say.
She's just never adapted to the setting and the reality of her situation. I mean, she's got that binder. She knows what the topic will be of the day. She knows that there's probably going to be 2 or 3 other things they discuss. And after being around those reporters, you know the style of question you're going to get from each and every one. And you know, like specifically with Ducey, that he's going to come at you hard, and you're still unprepared. I don't get it.
I once worked for a talk show host who was very scripted. Like literally had every segment, everything that they were going to talk about. I'm just saying I once worked for that person.
So it's the opposite of me.
Very scripted.
Is this Michael?
And I'm not naming any names, and you don't need to either.
Don, you better keep your mouth closed.
It's not Don Lemon, by the way.
And he had the whole plan out for the show the next day, and overnight something broke big, and because he was so this is what I do, this is how I we kind of ignored that subject for a majority of the show.
He couldn't audible on the fly,
and audibling on the fly wasn't
not an option.
Wasn't his strong suit.
Wow.
Because to be fair, he always wanted to be prepared for everything.
I mean, I'm structured and I'm regimented and I have my routine and I put together the show sheet and a plan. But if we don't adhere to it and because something else organically happens or breaking news happens, you got to be able to do that.
My point in all of this is not to throw anybody under the bus, but my point is that you have a plan, you have a binder when you go out and you have your talking points. But if you see the press corps and you see callers, listeners going in another direction, you follow them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And she just wasn't prepared for the big story of the day, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Gonna go to cut 9 here, Natasha. She's having a very difficult time explaining, she meaning KJP, explaining the Biden administration's flip-flop on the border wall. Cut 9.
So I'm President Biden's first day in office, January 20th. He posted a proclamation in the Federal Register where he halted all funding that was being redirected to build a border wall. And he also ended the national emergency on the southern border. Also, in the first paragraph of that proclamation, he asked for a careful review of all resources that have been appropriated to the southern border wall. What was the result of that careful review?
Don't have an update on the review, but happy to actually talk to the team, and we can work with you on getting the result of that review.
It's been 2.5 years. Was part of it
I totally
the decision
understand.
in June to restart construction on that
No,
section of the
I
border?
totally understand. You asked me for a review. I'm not going to make something up from here, so I have to figure out from the team what came out of that review. So don't have an answer on that review that you're asking about from the first day of the president's administration. But I will also add that first day the president put forth a comprehensive immigration reform, right, to reform the system, to fix a broken system that has been broken for decades.
See?
Yep. She couldn't adapt on the fly. She had nothing. And, I get it. You kind of asked that question to put her and the administration in a sticky spot and make them look stupid. But you also, as the reporter, should know she doesn't have anything for you on the fly. She can't pivot. Mm-hmm. And we've seen a lot of these people that go from that job to either politics as a politician like Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas, or you get a show like Jen Psaki on MSNBC. Mm-hmm. I know she was on TV before, but I could never in a million years picture her getting her own show as like a solo host. Could you imagine her doing a solo show?
Well, as long as it's not live and it's all scripted by talented producers and writers.
That's a good point, yeah.
But look, she, to use my analogy again, a caller called up, asked her a question, no answer on it. Like the big story of the day, no answer on it.
Yep.
Just made stuff up.
And here's the thing. that this administration says, boy, we really have fallen off in this position here from Jen Psaki to Karine Jean-Pierre. But we cannot force her out. We can't fire her. We can't come up with an exit strategy for her because this is what happens when you do identity politics. She is a DEI specialty, and she is exactly what this administration wants. Minority, female, and she's gay. And if they fire her, it's an admission that DEI hires are always going to fail because you are not going on merit and the best, most qualified for the job. You're going with and she's the trifecta. She's a triple box specimen right here. They love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good luck with that. See how that works out. If you, like I said, if you were running a business and you hired on DEI alone, and I'm talking about a small business, right, where maybe you can make $100,000 a year as the business owner, and you had 10 employees. If you did that, you would be out of business.
Yep. Well, if she is having a hard time explaining the Biden administration's flip-flop on the border wall, maybe she should just listen to Jen Psaki, or I'm sorry, Karine Jean-Pierre from 2021, because this is kind of 11, guys. She says that the Biden administration disagrees with his CBP nominee that portions of the border wall should be complete to cut 11.
And so I can probably check in and find out more. But yes, we follow the public health guidance. Yes.
Thanks for back on immigration for a second. The President summoned to lead Customs and Border Protection said in a Senate confirmation hearing yesterday that he supported the continued use of Title 42. He also indicated that it was his view that certain sections of the border wall should be finished. Does the President agree?
Well, as you know, we have said that I have to look at the comments. I have not seen them, so I want to make sure I read it within context. But we have talked about the border wall here in general as a way that it's been used to close the border, and we feel that it is a policy that doesn't work, and it's not just us. Experts have said that the border wall is not an effective policy. As far as those comments, I can't comment on that. I have not seen it. I have not read them, and I need to read it in context.
Wow. So two things. Number one, she looks totally different in 2021.
Yeah.
Total makeover. And secondly, here's the thing. Imagine how bad this border situation would be if Biden did not extend Title 42 all the way up until May 11th of 2023. I mean, let's face it. We were all done with COVID by like the second half of 2021, right? Beginning of 2022, most of us moved on from COVID. They extended it all the way through May of 2023 because Democrats and the left love using COVID as an excuse and as a way to drum up and peddle fear. But eventually they had to realize that the national health emergency was over. And if it wasn't for Title 42 and what it meant for the border, imagine how many the numbers with their open border policy and their refusal to build the wall, finish the wall, believe in the wall, be the wall. I love it. It's wall hysteria, wall to wall coverage. Imagine where we would be right now. Those numbers with illegal encounters would be off the charts.
Yeah.
Finally on this, because we've spent a lot of time on this, but I think it's important. I think it's the big story of the day, and we, unlike the Biden administration, are prepared to discuss it.
And by the way, did you ever go to the wall in the malls back in the day?
Of course.
You buy your CDs from there?
Wall. It used to be wall to wall sound and video. Yeah.
Used to love the wall.
Yeah. That was the whole point of that comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little flashback.
Okay. I like that. A little nostalgia. All right. Peter Ducey asked KJP, if you have to build a border wall, but you don't think it's going to work, are you going to tear it down? This is cut 10, Natasha.
If you have to build a border wall, but you don't think that it's going to work, then once it's done, are you just going to tear it down?
I'm not getting into hypotheticals from here. I'm just telling you what I can tell you from here. The facts are that DHS is complying with the law. This is from this was under fiscal year 2019 under Republican leadership, and DHS is required to do this. The president asked multiple times of Congress to reappropriate. They did not, and we're not complying by the law. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, they're going to put the wall up. They're going to build it, and then they'll try to claim it doesn't work, and then Joe's going to say, knock it down.
The hell with that.
Tear it down. Do it again.
It's unbelievable. A new Quinnipiac poll showing Pennsylvania. We haven't really discussed this very much. We've kind of done the national look, and we've looked at New Hampshire, we've looked at Iowa, but we haven't really done a deep dive into Pennsylvania. Well, there's a new poll showing Pennsylvania is a tight race for Trump and Biden. It's basically essentially tied.
Okay.
As we know, both need Pennsylvania to win the presidency, both D's and R's. This is cut 5 there, guys.
Let's talk some politics. A brand new Q poll looks at the state of Pennsylvania.
Can we
who is that?
It's
Ducey.
What is this guy's deal? What is he doing? Why is he yelling? Enough.
And that's Peter's dad, right?
Steve
I'm sorry, Don. What?
No, Steve Ducey.
Yeah. Whatever.
Why are you taking shots at Steve? He's a nice man. Okay. Hey, how can you hate Steve Ducey?
He doesn't hate him. He's just yelling.
It's like Kilmeade. Kilmeade's just like a nice guy.
No, I'm just saying the presentation of this is a little annoying.
Yeah, they're not all as good as us.
I'm going to start cut 5 over again there, lady and gentlemen.
Let's talk some politics. A brand new Q poll looks at the state of Pennsylvania. And keep in mind, this is the home state of Joe Biden. And look at that. Right now, it's within the margin of error, so they're essentially tied. What's interesting about this, and if you look at the other things they polled people on, Bob Casey, who is the current U.S. Senator, he's a Democrat from Pennsylvania, he is leading Dave McCormick by 6 points. Casey is actually outperforming Joe Biden, and it's the support of the independents who are helping Mr. Casey. Just goes to show you that it is essentially tied at the top of the ticket when it comes to the president.
They also looked at the Republican rivals, and Trump is ahead. Number 2 in that state in Pennsylvania is Ron DeSantis. Number 3 is Nikki Haley.
Wow.
So DeSantis is 2 here, but yet in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley's 2 and DeSantis is 3.
Yeah, they later go on to say that. Yeah.
So 1,725 people polled. That poll for Pennsylvania was September 28th to October 2nd. Trump 47%, Biden 45%.
Again, we're a year out, guys. It's very early, very early. But you know, it's that. I think they were smart to highlight that portion about Bob Casey Jr. and Biden.
You know what I would also love to know too is when you look at this state, and we get it, it's Philadelphia super blue, and then from everything in between Pittsburgh and Philly is red, is Republican, is Trump for the most part. I'm wondering what the dynamics are and the ratios are in Pittsburgh. We know what it is in Philadelphia. I'm wondering, I can't envision Pittsburgh being
They're blue.
Yeah, but as anti-Trump as Philly or a little less? I would think there's some Republicans in the Pittsburgh area.
Well, of course there's Republicans there, but you mean enough to really... I mean, like, every time election night comes around, everybody's always focused on not just, Bucks and Montgomery and Northampton, but also Allegheny County.
Correct.
Which is a huge stronghold for...
Right.
I guess it's Democrats? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
But then, I would just if I could see almost if I could see raw numbers, that would be great. But almost like one of those little heat map charts that show you how red it is, how blue it is, what the color looks like. 855-839-1210. Let me grab a call here before we wrap up Cut Sheet Part 1. Let's get Tom is in Percy. Has some thoughts on 2 of the GOP frontrunners. Tom, good morning. How are you, pal?
Hey, happy Friday. And a great day to be in Philly. We got, Phillies on Friday or Saturday, Eagles on Sunday, Phillies on Monday. It's great to be a Philadelphia fan.
Yes, it is, sir.
So I want to make a comment about the traitorous.
I like that name.
But Scioli calls his DeSantis the traitorous or whatever. But anyway, before I get to that, remember when they were trying to sell off the wall?
Yes.
What act was that under? And who, I just think it's so hypocritical, the stuff that they do, but that's what they do. And I'm just hoping that the American public really wakes up after this.
Yeah.
And I hope it is a huge wake-up call.
Well, I think it has been, and I think people are waking up. I just don't know that it's enough to ultimately change the results in 2024. And also, I like how he brought up the auctioning off of these. I mean, they were legitimately selling it off. I mean, could you have a bigger blatant disregard for the national security of your nation where you have materials and supplies to keep people out and you're selling it?
Yep.
I mean, by the way, can I get that on eBay or Amazon? How do I put in a bid? I want a framed piece of the wall in my basement.
I'm gonna say, I have 2 cuts here that are gonna trigger Dawn.
Uh-oh.
Well, this is about the time where she does get triggered, usually, about 8:20-ish.
Ann Coulter
Oh,
was on the Patrick.
Still dead to me.
I'll be back. I'll be in the bathroom.
Was on the Patrick Bet David podcast, and she said some very interesting things that are making the rounds on the social medias, which is why I bring them to you. I just, I go where the news is.
You just love ruffling feathers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's what I do here. I mean, would it be interesting if I just played a bunch of clips of people saying what you two agree with?
Hell no. I love this.
I wouldn't be doing my job.
I live for this.
Thank you.
Plus, I can take a bite of my fig bar now.
She is basically on Team DeSantis. And she talks about how safe it was if you were in Florida in 2020 and how the president at the time, not so much. This is cut 1, Daniel.
Besides COVID, that was very big in 2020, and you say, and this reminds me that you want to feel safe, and boy, we don't feel safe now, especially in New York and LA.
Oh God, Philly, all these places.
San Francisco. I mean,
yeah,
for a
the list
city
goes
person
on.
like I am, where do you go? Anyway, and that was the George Floyd, May 25th, 2020, changed the world. Suddenly we have to release all the criminals, among other things. One place you would have been safe in 2020 was in Florida. Thank you, Ron DeSantis, passing law after law where you can shoot looters, anti-rioting laws. I mean, there were specific actions he took that meant there were no riots and no police stations were burnt down and you did not have police being assaulted. What did the commander-in-chief do? What did Trump do? He sent out tweets in all caps, law and order. Point 1. Point 2, you know what he said in the first debate with Joe Biden? And this is after a year of them burning, BLM and Antifa, burning down police stations, ripping down statues. I mean, anarchy like I've never seen in this country before. When that police station went down in Minneapolis, I was watching TV crying. It was so horrible. They talk about January 6th. Let's talk about that. At the first debate, what did Donald Trump say to Joe Biden? You called them super predators. I'm releasing people from prison. How about the First Step Act? Thank you, Jared. He's releasing criminals. You want to feel safe? Donald Trump ain't your guy.
There you go.
Dawn Stensland, your thoughts on your little BFF Ann Coulter?
I mean,
I give you Chardonnay and diet pills.
Let's not take pot shots. Let's go after what she said.
So-
I mean, Trump did. So then
it's
the First
Trump's-
Step Act or whatever that was.
No, wait.
Kim Kardashian, Jared Kushner.
Right.
Yes, that's
of individuals, right, of individuals who were in prison for ridiculously long, unfair sentences.
Drug offenses.
And minor drug offenses. And so talking about what is fair, looking at individual cases of maybe commuting a sentence or whatever. And so it was fair and it was right and it was just. And it was not a broad brush. It was not, hey, we're just going to have a culture of crime and let criminals run wild. We're going to look at, a grandmother who's been in prison for 25 years, and she was a secondary at best player in a marijuana deal decades ago.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yes.
I mean, some of them were crazy.
That's the damned if he does, damned if he doesn't approach that everybody likes to take with Trump. It's, he's letting out criminals, but he also claims to tweet out law and order. And then it's, he's racist. Oh, then he lets people that are minorities out for ridiculous offenses that they shouldn't be in jail that long for either. So he can never win and catch a break. But I do think it, and look, you know me, I believe in law and order. But I'm sorry, 20 years for pot? Stop.
No, and here's the thing, Ann Coulter. I'm just going to say, let me just say about Ann Coulter. Let me just say, this is somebody who goes, she's a fair weather fan. She goes with the wind. She, if you're new to the show here, let me just remind, we were still on afternoons. She called into the Zioli show in the afternoon and said, oh, Rich, I'm out at Berkeley and they're trying to cancel me. You should come on. You should come out here. And so Delaware Valley Sports heard it, said, oh, I want to sponsor the trip. They just had adopted another baby. They got a baby at home with Bridget. And Zioli flies out there. He's standing out there in Berkeley with all these like haters with a little backpack on. And Bridget calling, Bridget, you okay with the baby? And where's Ann? Where's Ann? Nobody knows where Ann. She vanished. She blew us off. She blew Stalker off and Zioli off. She is dead to me. And she is a fair weather fan. And for her to go on and say this as a traitorous, she knows full well what was going on. She's just dead to me. And
Kinda
why
like-
anybody would give her credibility, I have no idea.
Kind of like you and I are standing here in Morning Drive looking around like, sorry. Anyway.
Where are you?
Hello. My point on this, because Bubba says that so you would let Alice Johnson locked up for life. I didn't say I agreed with what Ann Coulter was saying. I'm just presenting it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I just think that to some people, and we made this, we discussed this the other day, the Matt Drudges, the Ann Coulters and stuff, like the immigration issue for them was their big issue. And they felt like Trump didn't deliver on that. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And they have said that. Both of them have said that. One more on Ann Coulter. She's talking to Patrick Bet David. I have no idea who this guy is, but apparently he has a very popular podcast. He's been on with Joe Rogan as well too. She told him, because he defended Trump, she told him that you sound like a battered woman making excuses for Trump. Cut 2.
Is that stupid?
Respectfully, you sound bitter now. And the reason why...
A, don't lie to us when you're campaigning and getting our votes. B, you sound like a battered woman making excuses. Well, maybe he won't hit me next time. It's been 4 years. He's been beating the crap out of you. He had 4 years, Patrick. 4 years. Yeah. 2 with a Republican Congress. Oh, but I know he could have not hit me, but maybe he was thinking he was waiting for our golden anniversary to stop hitting me. He was just waiting for that perfect time.
She sounds
he
crazy.
had 4 years. He didn't build it. I don't know what other proof you could possibly want.
She looks very angry, by the way.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on YouTube. Again, I don't have a rapport or any real history with her, so Dawn, I'll defer to you if you want.
I'll just never forget what she did, and that's, to me, she never. I can't believe she didn't apologize.
Has she been on the show on the station since?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
I just don't know all the backstory. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, we never knew like what. That's why I started saying Chardonnay and diet pills. Like, I have no idea what happened.
That's kind of like ED pills and Monster. Oh, I'm sorry. Those are just allegations.
All right, let's go to something we can all agree on. Dem activist says that law allowing the death penalty for child rape in Florida is a threat against the LGBTQ community.
Oh man!
Wow,
what a statement!
Can you follow this logic?
Yes.
This is cut for Natasha.
I don't think that is as bad as it's going to get in the state of Florida or possibly red states in general for trans people. I think that this is the ultimate goal. Yes, he wants to deter as many gay and trans people from the state of Florida as possible, but those who do not leave at their own free will, well, what's going to happen if you refuse to leave a bathroom? They're already calling the communities trans and gay, they're already calling them groomers. That's the next step. Well, they didn't leave the bathroom because they're obviously going to do something with my child. And if they think that you're a pedophile or a groomer or a sex offender, it's legalized genocide.
Okay, I'm going to give a different answer than I normally do for some of this crazy talk. I actually believe, and I've said this part before, that I don't think the LGBTQ plus community is under attack like they claim. I think they do that to be recognized. I think that entire segment, and I'm not just talking about the LG, I'm talking about all the extra letters and symbols that get attached to this. Mm-hmm. They go out of their way to be noticed. You know what they are now at this point? They're a bunch of attention whores. And they're getting on my nerves with the stuff of always going out of your way to be so over. To me, I think you get noticed based on your abilities, your accomplishments. Yeah, usually the loudest guy saying how great he is usually not the greatest guy. You know, the big verbal tough guy like Chris Christie, not a tough guy. So with this group here, they go out of their way to constantly show you that they are having a mental health breakdown, and then claim that they are under attack. Whereas if I think you just went about your life and I go about my life, odds are I probably won't even notice you. Certainly don't have a problem with you. Like I've always said, you only have one life. Live it to the whatever you want to do. Knock yourself out. You do you. I like to live by that motto. But and that wasn't there specifically like one of the typical TikTok type videos we get. But it's like it's almost a cry for help.
Yeah.
It's like they're just begging to be noticed. And it's like, you like what you like, that's cool. I disagree with it. I don't care that you do it. I also just think there's a big difference between what you claim to be and what biology is telling me you are. That's all. But they're just attention seekers now. And, so I guess we're to blame for some of it because we air their stuff.
You guys see all of these climate activists that, chain themselves to things, right?
Speaking of attention seekers.
So this is Zoe Cohen. She's a part of the Just Stop Oil group. So, like, she's one of these people that she's from, I believe she's from the UK. This is from Sky News is where I got this from. I think she's from the UK. Maybe Australia, but I don't know. Somewhere that's not American. She's talking about climate change to the Sky News reporter, and it's amazing because you have to watch this. Go to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. She like fakes, she fakes like she's starting to cry.
Oh God.
When she talks about the children and climate change and how it's affecting them. You have to watch this. You can hear it too.
Okay.
But it's a funny visual. Cut 3.
How worse does it have to get? How many kids have to die? How many more young people have to do this stuff? I don't know what else to say, Anna. Why aren't you on the streets with us? That's all I can say. How do you explain your inaction? How do you explain it? Everyone here, all the presenters that we talk to, how do you explain your inaction? How much longer are you going to keep this journalistic objectivity up? Until the water's lapping at your ankles? Until your own kids haven't got food? How long?
And for Just Stop Oil, what's next? Will you continue to disrupt events, or what's the plan?
Because it's morally wrong to not take the action that we know from history has got some chance of having an effect. People feel powerless. We are the opposite. When we come together, we have enormous power. There are so many more of us than there are of them.
Okay, there you
go. He's so full of crap.
I mean, that crying.
You know who that reminds me of in a way, and this will show you that I don't pander to one side more than the other. This reminds me of the Kyle kid that was on the trial with a gun back in the BLM riots.
Oh, Kyle Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say she reminded you of Kevin McCarthy this week giving his farewell speech.
And I don't feel bad for him either. That reminds me of Kyle Rittenhouse when he took the stand and he made a big meme and a gif out of it. He was like, his like, whole face started like, dude, stop.
That's a sin. He was a teenage
I know,
kid
teenage
on
boys,
trial.
Teenage boys
Come
are always
on.
under attack. Except when
He
they're
was attacked.
shooting
And
up.
by the way, thank God that Wisconsin jury exonerated him.
Absolutely,
That was
the
ridiculous.
Right verdict, but the poor theatrics out of him.
One more time.
I don't think it was theatrics.
Okay, enough.
He could have been. Really?
One more time with this woman crying. Ready? Start it over. Cut 3.
How worse does it have to get? How many kids have to die? How many more young people have to do this stuff? I don't know what else to say, Anna. Why aren't you on the streets with us? That's all I can say.
It's so phony.
Why am I not on the street
It's
with you?
so
about climate?
phony.
It's so big.
The whole thing is phony.
Speaking of visuals,
Yeah.
Keith Martin sent us a tweet. We were talking about DeSantis earlier, and you played that clip of him about 2020 and Trump and stuff. I retweeted it, and maybe Valdez can get it up in the box at some point. He's photoshopped Ron DeSantis at a hot dog hut.
Oh no!
With yellow pump mustard pumps on.
Boy, the
Mustard.
Boy, the bloom fell off that rose, didn't it?
Man.
Oh my lord!
He's got like a skirt on with white leggings.
Oh, that's not right.
He's got
That's
yellow
not right.
high heels.
That's not right.
Because we know DeSantis likes to wear high boots because he's 5'9".
He does wear those high boots. I mean, they're very nice boots, but Bill Maher even called him out last week for wearing cowboy boots with a suit on.
Yeah, I don't get that either.
Yeah.
But if you look at them, remember we made fun of the little Marco's boots. If you look at the boot, the weird thing about it is if you look at the picture, I don't know if you can put it up. It looks like the kind of boot. The heel doesn't look that high, but the way his foot is in the boot makes it look like there's a lift. These are specially made boots that actually there's a lift inside the boot.
For like the individuals that have one leg shorter than the other and that shoe has to be specially fitted.
Yes.
Yeah.
I gotta say something, and it's Nick. You're not really that small. You're an average height guy, but like
I'm 5'10".
As somebody who's always been tall, like I'm 6'2". I've been tall my entire life. Like, is it really that? I always felt being tall, like especially when you're younger, I always felt like awkward. Like I'm taller than everybody else.
Did you have like a big growth spurt one summer where you shot up 5 inches?
I was always like, look at my 4th grade basketball picture. I'm like a head taller than everybody else. My son's the same way.
Okay.
So he's gonna be a taller, but like I never got this thing with guys where they want to be taller than they actually are.
I don't think 6'2" is an awkward height. I think 6'2" is actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was 6'1.5", so I'm about 2 inches shorter or so than him, maybe 2.5, 3. Because my mom was really short, so my mom was like 5'1", 5'2". But I've never wanted to. Actually, I take that back. My basketball coach told me one day, he was like, "You would be much better, but you would be a great small forward, but you're as tall as a point guard and you're built like a linebacker."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's probably why I'm never going to get past high school basketball. He's like, that is correct. I wish I was like 6'1", but it's not like something I think about all the time.
In politics, I think they're all aware of it because if you look at the height, for whatever reason, size does matter. So if you look at the height of U.S. presidents in modern times, nobody's short. Nobody is. I mean, everybody's pretty much over 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
In recent, you think of Obama, you think of the Bushes, you think of Trump.
Was
Trump 6'3"?
What about Clinton? Was Clinton shorter?
Yeah, no, he's tall.
He was tall.
He's tall.
Who's the last short president?
Jimmy Carter was like 5'9".
Wasn't George W. Bush small?
W, I think, is at least 6 feet.
Well, I know his father was tall.
It does matter with their size because you're supposed and this is why we say Joe projects weakness and fragility.
But he's tall.
Yeah, but he trips and falls and he doesn't know where he's at. Like if you're the leader of the free world, you have to project strength, charisma, confidence, be a great orator. Like everything basically Joe's not. But yeah, I would love to know that. I'm going to look at that up. We're going to do like presidential. We should get the height and weight of every president and just go through this like a boxing match.
Michael on the YouTube chat says Stalker on the weekends plays Big Bird. That's not right. I mean, come on.
Yeah, during the week he plays Oscar the Grouch.
Road Warrior on Twitter talking about me says you be on Team D Meatball, meaning Ron DeSantis. I'm not. Trust me. I'm not on Team Ron DeSantis.
No,
trust me. I just think it's funny. D Meatball.
Yeah.
One more. Then
he is very. I think, and look, this could be. He might have been like this his whole life, or this might just be because he's got presidential aspirations and people are in his ears. He has got very, very thin skin, and I think DeSantis has what do they call those ears where you're always alert of criticism? He's got rabbit ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's aware that people point out these things, and I think it bothers him.
Well, Dawn, didn't you say he's 5'9", isn't he? That's not that small.
What's the average height of American men today?
It's like 5'7".
Okay.
Yeah, because of immigration, we've gotten smaller for the average.
Oh.
But DeSantis is it's funny, there are all these conversations about his height just within the past several days. It is weird what we as Americans focus on. We're so bizarre, but he says he's 5'9".
Yeah. Well, it's people always point out the random stuff. Yeah. Like on YouTube. Like we're playing a clip and sometimes, more often than not, our first response has nothing to do with the actual content of the clip.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
They had a completely separate conversation yesterday about something we weren't even talking about.
Here's what we should do. I've got a show programming idea.
Okay.
We should either do this by design where the audience one day a week for like one segment, we could do like middle of the week on a Wednesday, like after Bruno, once Bruno's driven this train right into the abyss and there's no recovering, we shouldn't even try. We should just have like the audience throw out a topic, and unlike Karine Jean-Pierre,
I love that.
we kind of ad lib on the fly and respond not knowing what's coming.
I love that. We're going to do it next week.
And then also, we could also just, when we notice that there's a conversation going on, just somebody on the show staff alerts us to it, and then we immediately start talking about it in mid-segment. We just, like, we're going to totally bail on Trump on the border and start talking about whatever LX or 91 is having a side conversation about that everybody else has joined in on.
No, I like let's do it on a Wednesday, maybe in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll just say...
you make the call.
Yeah, Twitter, YouTube, whatever you're listening on, watching on, whatever, throw out topics, and we will comment on them in real time.
That'd be great.
I think that is a fabulous idea, and it could get very dangerous.
As long as he gets good ratings, I don't care.
I mean, basically, that's what I did with the Ann Coulter thing. I knew it was gonna I bring these things to you guys because I know they're gonna cause a reaction. I bring it. Like everybody's like, you're playing them because you agree with them. No, I'm not. I'm playing with them. I'm playing them because I know it's going to get a strong reaction from Nick Kayal and Dawn Stensland, which, by the way, is
radio, people.
Which, by the way, is my job.
Yes.
It's not me agreeing with anything. It's me
Correct.
playing something and say, "Hey, Dawn. Hey, Nick. React."
Greg Stalker does what's best for business.
All right, this will get some people's feathers ruffled. Hillary Clinton calls for the formal deprogramming of the MAGA cult members.
Can you believe the nerve?
I know.
This is the lady who invented saying the deplorables.
She said this to Cristiano Amanpour. Cut 6.
Well, you saw the number of Republicans who voted along with Democrats to keep the government open. So there's clearly a common sense, sane part of the Republican caucus in the House. But I think they are intimidated. They oftentimes, say and do things which they know better than to say or do. And it will require us defeating those most extreme measures and the people who promote them in order to try to get to some common ground where people can, again, work together. That's the way it used to be. I mean, we had very strong partisans in both parties in the past.
I love this, by the way. Can I just say this? I love this about the good old days when everybody got along.
I know. Like everything was like kumbaya.
Are you effing kidding me
Like, no
with this?
way. It's just different this day and age with social media and the immediate reactions of stuff. And, oh, by the way, there's an outsider that came in and shook things up.
And they always talk about, Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. And it's just like people have this, like people forget. It's, it's long enough, it's history, that people are just like, oh, yeah, politics never used to be so.
Right.
Really?
It's two things here. It's like, well, number one, Trump is actually fighting against three political families right now. Trump is battling the Bidens, the Obamas, and the Clintons, and it's
the Bushes,
and the Bushes. It's actually a 4-on-1 match. And then the other remarkable thing about it is, and I've said this before, every time I see her, she must wake up every morning hating her life.
Yeah,
she hates her husband. Okay, and she hates the fact that she lost to Donald Trump.
Yep.
And for 7 years now,
that's going to be her legacy.
Eaten her alive.
Yep, that's her legacy, and she knows it. She knows that's going to be her. She will always be the person who lost. It was her time.
Yes.
It was her glass ceiling to shatter. She lost, and she will never, ever, ever live that down. She will go to the grave with that as her legacy. We continue.
And we had very bitter battles over all kinds of things, gun control and climate change and the economy and taxes. But there wasn't this little tail of extremism wagging the dog of the Republican Party as it is today. And sadly, so many of those extremists, those MAGA extremists, take their marching orders from Donald Trump, who has no credibility left by any measure. He's only in it for himself. He's now defending himself in civil actions and criminal actions. And when do they break with him? Because at some point, maybe there needs to be a formal deprogramming of the cult members, but something needs to happen.
And how do you do that? Because you said you have to defeat them by defeating their leader. Their leader is Donald Trump. Even you have said that you expect him to be the Republican nominee. How does this change at all?
At this point, I think, sadly, he will still likely be the nominee, and we have to defeat him. And we have to defeat those who are the election deniers, as we did in 2020 and 2022. And we have to, just be smarter about how we are trying to empower the right people inside the Republican Party. You know, Nancy Pelosi had a majority of 5 votes when she was Speaker. Kevin McCarthy had a majority of 5 votes. Nancy Pelosi passed consequential legislation. And she clearly had members within her caucus who, you know, ranged across a spectrum of political beliefs. And
okay, you get the
Yeah. You know, I love how she brings up election deniers, and we've only given you 20-minute montages of every time Democrats have lost and denied the results or the outcome as it was stolen, it was taken away, deny, deny, deny. And then I love how she's got the audacity to talk about credibility. Trump's credibility is his first 3 years, the results that he got with the economy, with peace, and everything else like that. And here's the thing, and this is for both parties, and I'm going to use Hillary as an example, and I'm going to use Kari Lake as an example. I'm so tired of all these people that have never won the office that they so desperately seek, and they claim to be experts. And I know Hillary has served in other roles, whereas Kari Lake's never won anything. But I'm just tired of the people that can't do the job, didn't win the job, didn't get the job, didn't win the election, that think they could truly do it better than. It's like somebody that didn't get this job. Oh, I do much better than Nick Kayal. Oh yeah, and then why didn't you get the job, Skip?
Well, here's the thing too. She also forgets about her husband, and I don't, because this is all like she, you know, when 1990 whatever, when the Oklahoma City bombing happened,
94.
Her husband came out and blamed talk radio for it and the political discourse of Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern and those guys, and that was the reason that you know, that those people are, you know, did the whole Oklahoma City bombing thing.
So he lumped in Rush with Howard?
Yeah, they did this whole thing about how it was the rhetoric on talk radio and how it's affecting our politics and everything. So this whole idea that she has about how it used to be, you know, years ago, it was all kumbaya and yeah, we disagreed on some legislation, but we all like that's BS. It is a complete fabrication of history. I mean, and her husband was at the forefront of it.
I can see, because at least the connection with Rush is, well, Rush talks about politics. But what's the connection to Stern? What was Stern doing in the 90s that carried over to politics? He's not like he is today.
I think it was just the anti-establishment nature of him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you know, he was kind of an anti-government guy, you know, fighting against the FCC and everything.
Got it.
So he was lumped in with all of that too. So I just think that it's you know, this rose-colored glasses thing of thinking that, you know, our politics wasn't nasty until Trump got involved is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's always interesting the way we look at something now and compare it to back in the day. Like, people say, well, yeah, I mean, I really miss football from back in the day. It was great. Yeah, the NFL was much better in the 80s and the 90s. Like, what was it? Was it really better?
Yeah.
I think you could debate that. So,
yeah.
Very interesting. All right, that'll do it for the cut sheet. We'll come back and wrap up the 8 o'clock hour. Next, it's Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield. For years, you've heard about our exclusive elastomeric ceramic house paint with the unheard-of 25-year warranty. Today, I want to ask you, do you need to paint your home? Maybe even been putting it off for too long? If your answer is yes, then ask yourself if you want to paint it one last time, or if you want to be painting it again in 5 or 6 years. Rhino Shield can make your next paint job your last. Rhino Shield is waterproof, protects your home, is affordable, and looks great on any exterior surface. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. That's 484-406-5111.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Veneria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Veneria is and has been my dentist also. And, doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to them, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Veneria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Veneria's office does everything. Dr. Veneria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit veneriadental.com.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
I love parks. Great place for a date night, night out with friends, family. It's so much fun. And now it gets even better this month. It's the $50,000 trick-or-treat treasures only at Parks Casino. Win, and you'll have a chance encounter with a creepy claw machine. This is so much fun. Winners will be selected every 20 minutes Friday, October 20th. So you earn entries now through October 20th for your chance to play the creepy claw with the $50,000 trick or treasures only at the #1 casino, Parks Casino. And Parks, of course, has the hottest entertainment. Thousands of state-of-the-art slots, 115 table games, Joe Conklin's Comedy Night, the best local bands every weekend only at 360 Lounge. And don't miss, these top headliners coming soon to the Excite Center at Parks. Comedian Michael Blaustein, October 20th. Howie Mandel, November 17th. Air Supply, November 18th. And then Aaron Lewis rounds out the end of November on the 30th. Parks is the ultimate destination for action, excitement, entertainment, free parking, valet parking, electric vehicle charging stations for every guest. Parks Casino and Sportsbook. This is how you win. Must be 21. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free speech lives here.
Kayal and Company, 8:55 Friday morning. What are you giggling
I just
about?
saw your mustard.
You like those? You think Dawn would you be seen in public with those?
Yes, I'm going to get some mustard pumps.
Dawn
oh my God.
mustard pumps.
You are so funny.
Mustard. Yes. You guys see the picture now? We got to get it up in the YouTube chat.
Yeah, Daniel or Natasha, can we put that up in the YouTube chat? Or on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@1210WPHT.
I guess
so good.
If Ron really was wearing yellow mustard pumps, he would go from Ron DeSantis to Ron DeTransis.
Oh, that's not right.
Mustard.
Mustard. It's amazing.
All right. Big final hour is coming up. A very interesting story from the Wall Street Journal on when did rock concerts become tame?
Yes.
And who you can thank for that. So once again, that is
correct.
correct.
No, I don't know.
That is correct.
Is that true? Okay.
Thank alcohol-free Gen Z.
Blame Gen Z for everything. I don't know.
Yes.
The last rock concert I was to was not
alcohol-free.
Was not family friendly.
Good. It's the way it should be.
If you know what I mean.
We are going to get to that story in the final hour. And then also, you know how we were talking about Taylor Swift, and I said there's just some stories that stay in the news cycle, they never go away. And I mentioned Bud Light being one of them. Well, we have a Bud Light and a beer update because it's that time of year where we start to get some of these numbers in during football season with alcohol being purchased.
Guys, can we please get this up on YouTube before 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
I just
pretty remarkable. DeSantis at the hot dog hut. Like those little soubrette
God, this is so funny.
brats that you get on the street in New York with the little cart guy. Is it up? Yep, there it is. Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's Ron DeSantis in a.
Yeah.
I mean, Dawn, those are nice mustard pumps, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a little too yellow. We need to alter them a little bit. They're a little too bright, sunny yellow. They need to be more mustardy.
Yeah, it's big birdish.
Oh my God, and it's hysterical. But it's a platform pump, which is so appropriate,
right?
Because that's the allegation that he's wearing specially made platform boots.
And kudos to women for wearing those because those can't be comfortable.
The platforms are actually more comfortable.
Your foot is not meant to be shaped like that.
Sharon on the YouTube chat writes, "Nice legs, Ron. Those are nice legs."
I know.
Yeah. By the way, give some credit to whoever came up with this.
Who did that?
That was I just retweeted it.
Keith Martin.
Yeah, Keith Martin.
Keith,
really
job,
good.
Mike.
Yes. And he just throws the DeSantis head on some female and you can still see the other female's hair in the background.
But when you come back, that after Friday, October 13th, with your girls
we're
at
not
the
talking about
Eras
it.
Tour.
No, we're not. No.
When Nick Kayal goes to that with his little twin girls,
keep your mouth closed.
I'm banning it.
He's going to come back, and Keith is going to make a meme of you as now a transformed Swiftie.
Oh man. Yeah.
But it'll really be like a transform. I'm kind of conflicted because it's for your little girls.
Yep.
So how far does a dad? We saw those dads in line. You couldn't be in line because you were like at work.
Right.
Here.
I have a
what?
job.
That picture just makes me laugh. Leave it up. Leave it up during the commercial
keep
break.
Keep it in box 4.
Leave it up during the commercial break because it's just funny to me how everything. It's just funny to me how like the blooms come off the rose in politics so fast.
Oh, of course.
I mean, think about I was I'm old enough to remember having Ann Coulter on I think we hosted her for something, and there was like 2,000 people there. I remember Mitt Romney in a field in Bucks County. There was thousands and thousands and thousands of people there. Everybody was saying Ron was the next savior for the
Jeb Bush
for the GOP. Like, it's just funny how politics is a really fickle business.
It really is, man.
I've never seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but she is. I mean, when you look up, in DuckDuckGo or Wikipedia or whatever, when you look up the word fickle, her picture holding a glass of Chardonnay or diet pills there.
What about sports? I mean, especially in this city, we can turn on a player real quickly.
Yeah, but it's not as...
We're not fickle fans, though, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's true.
Overall.
Yeah.
You say something passive-aggressive or you take a shot at the fan base saying they're too rude or something, well, you could go from being really liked and accepted to being mustard.
That picture.
Mustard.
Oh, my God.
Now we just need to get that. We need to get that animated and have DeSantis dancing.
Mustard.
And does he have like a garter belt on?
Yeah,
Like something crazy?
And very nice. YouTube.com/@1210WPHD, by the way, if you want to see this. By the way, we're like 17 subscribers away from 4,700.
Okay.
So get over there right now and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button. I want to get. Can you be the 4,700th
All right. Coming up,
subscription. Sorry.
9 o'clock hour. Well, it's actually underway, but when we come back in the 9 o'clock hour, we got to get to the Bud Light update. Also, that Gen Z rock story from the Wall Street Journal. And I told you that mask mandates were going to return. Well, one of our listeners sent us an email and explains the mandate in this listening area at, I believe, his place of work.
Oh, wow.
So we got this email, and we want you to tip us off to this type of stuff. When these things start popping back up again, and it's not public knowledge, let us know, and we'll read that email when we come back.
By the way, Natasha and Daniel, please leave the Ron DeSantis photo up during the commercial break.
Yes. Muster during the break, because as you know, and we'll be back after this.
Are you putting your retirement savings in a 401k or IRA? Then I have one word of advice. Stop. You've been lied to by the Wall Street fat cats who get paid whether you win or lose. They say risk your life savings in the stock market, but studies show people who follow that advice will outlive their savings by a staggering 10 years. They say max out your contributions to 401ks, but the man who invented the 401k now says it's a monster that should be destroyed. They say defer paying your taxes to retire in a lower tax bracket, but retirees who fell for that lie are paying higher taxes than ever. Now get a free report exposing the wealth-killing lies you've been told and discover the proven retirement plan alternative Wall Street fat cats hope you never hear about. You can get guaranteed competitive growth every year and tax-free retirement income. Get your free report now at bankonyourself.com/save. That's bankonyourself.com/save. bankonyourself.com/save.
Two legends, one can. Jack and Coke, the #1 cocktail in the world, is now available in a can. Yes, it's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar are available in a can. And they are now available at your local PA Fine Wine and Good Spirits store. Two legends, one can. Jack and Coke, ready to drink. Go to finewineandgoodspirits.com. Please drink responsibly.
Whiskey Specialty, 7% ABV. Jack Daniel Distillery, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Jack Daniel's and Old No. 7 are registered trademarks of Jack Daniel's Properties, Inc. Coca-Cola is a trademark of the Coca-Cola Company.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues. Here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotics Assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th. And at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Identity theft shows no signs of slowing down. In fact, more than $29 billion were stolen last year alone. That's a criminal success story and a wake-up call for everyone else. It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. LifeLock makes it easy to help protect yourself if you become a victim. A dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. Join now and save up to 25% your first year with my name, Clay, as your promo code at LifeLock.com, promo code Clay.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly rated hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal and Company, fourth and final hour underway on a Friday morning, 9:05. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Still ahead this morning. Who on Twitter today? What's on tap for the Dawn Show? We're going to get to this Gen Z concert and also this Bud Light update. But I do want to read this email because, you know, we talked about some of these mask mandates that were returning in California. And usually it starts in Los Angeles or New York, and it works its way to Chicago, Philadelphia, on down the list. And I am of the belief, as I've said many times now for this fall, that we will see a mask mandate return in some school or school district. My guess is coming out of Thanksgiving before Christmas or coming out of Christmas, starting off the new year. But we have told you that if, you know, you get any of these mandates, in your place of employment, to let us know. You can always call us, tweet us, email us. And Greg got an email from one individual. I don't even want to say the first name, but he says, "Hey, Greg, my name is blank, and I listen to the morning show, Dawn show, and Zioli every day at work, helping run my family's landscaping company in Chester County. You guys always mention mask mandate reinstitutions to shine light on the madness of the left. Well, here's a local one for you. So they have updated mask guidelines, and this is apparently Tower Health Provider. Don't know what exactly that is, but they
Tower Health.
Huh?
That's a pretty big group.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Tower Health.
Okay.
Let me look at who else is Tower Health.
Tower Health. They say, dear, this was on September 29th, so just about a week ago. Dear patients, during the past month, Reading Hospital has experienced a significant surge in COVID-positive patients and employees. To help prevent the spread of COVID-19 and to protect our employees and patients, staff will again wear masks while at work, effective Friday, September 29th. We are also asking that visitors and patients wear masks while at the following facilities until further notice. Reading Hospital, the doctor's office building, ambulatory care, Reading Hospital Rehabilitation and Wyomissing, Tower Health at Home, Tower Health Medical Group, Tower Health Medical Group practices in the Berks County Market, and Tower Health Urgent Care Centers. And it goes on down the list, and then there's more, fine print type stuff. And then they also send one to patients saying, we are sharing an update regarding masks. Recently, we announced the requirement to mask at some of our facilities due to an increase in COVID-positive patients. Based on current conditions, we are now encouraging but not requiring masks. This was on October the 2nd. Complimentary masks are available. If conditions change, we will notify you. So, again, they just don't obviously realize that masks don't really work. But number one, when we talk about COVID-positive patients, are people going to the hospital still with COVID and testing at home and then going to the doctor or going to the hospital? Or, which I think, first of all, I think that's ridiculous and crazy. Are they testing you for COVID at the hospital when you go for like a broken leg?
I think they still are.
I don't understand why we are still testing for this stuff.
So Tower Health, the urgent care locations, there's one, they're in Winfield. There's one right by the art museum.
Mm-hmm.
There's out by Oaks. I mean, they're everywhere across our region.
Okay.
But if they're an urgent care or a hospital, even though I think CHOP right now, a lot of the CHOP Children's Hospital locations they haven't been requiring masks.
Right.
So are they specifically saying it's COVID, Nick?
I mean,
they're saying COVID?
COVID positive patients, which to me is why, so we're testing. So you could feel perfectly fine, and let's say you tore your ACL and you're at the hospital, or whatever, you fell on glass, and we're going to test you for COVID. You could come back positive for COVID, not know you have COVID, and feel perfectly fine as far as having no symptoms. And then, oh, by the way, if you have been feeling like crap for 2 or 3 days, and then you had to go to a hospital for a different reason, and they tested you for it, you'd be like, oh, well, all right, yeah, I've been fatigued. I've got a little bit of the chills. I've got a terrible headache. A stuffy nose, sore throat. I lost my sense of taste or smell. It's complete madness that on October 6, 2023, we would be doing this. Short of anybody that actually got COVID and needed to be hospitalized and put on a ventilator, or God forbid died. We know the at-risk groups and the people in that community, usually out of shape, overweight, 65 or older, whatever it might be. So I don't criticize or ridicule that. But for the common person going to which is wild that we're still actually going to do these tests. Think about how much money is being spent to test on something that for almost the entire population, it really is a non-factor.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking up Philadelphia because now I'm thinking, oh, here we go. I think...
And this is Berks County.
Yeah, but it's not just Berks. I'm looking up Tower Health. They reinstated this, as I look this up, just within the past few days.
So does Tower have locations within the city?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Montgomery County, throughout the region.
Okay.
Because Ridge Pike, Royers, so it's throughout the area. They're suggesting this because of the COVID uptick.
Yep.
But I don't really get it because it's like I do have relatives in Chester County who did get sick. And one of their kids, I think had to the doctor and they had COVID, but it was only because they went to the pediatrician and they asked for the test just to see, but for me, it's interesting to me. At times with the Biden administration, remember we had all the recalls on the tests.
Yep.
So I still have some tests, that we have left over. They're either expired or remember there was a big recall. Then the Biden administration within the past month said, we're going to send out more free tests. Yeah. You could apply for your free test. So this times out with the free Biden administration free COVID test.
Yeah.
But people who are getting it now, the great news is I think it's less harsh than I'm much more worried about RSV for little ones.
Every strain of COVID, the new variant is less and less dangerous.
It's like
it might be more transmissible, but it's nothing.
Thank God.
Yeah, of course. And it's pretty remarkable too. You talk about those tests. If you have any leftover tests, just give them to Democrats. They use them as stocking stuffers.
But I think that they were recalled. They had huge recalls on the tests.
Oh, okay.
So those tests. Remember back in the day when we had to test,
Yep.
and then we had to go this many days and so on. We now learn that those tests. And we go, nope, I tested. I was not positive. We might have been.
I've said this before that I don't know what the updated procedure is for our company. I should, as a manager, I should probably know that.
Hopefully we don't have one.
But if one of you came to me and said, hey, by the way, I have COVID, do we have to go through the same steps we went through the last couple of years with contact tracing and and what's the time that you have to stay home now?
They reduced
still
that.
5 days?
I think it's 5 or it went from 10 to 5.
Well, 10 was years ago.
So 5 to there's the madness.
Yeah.
You said that was years ago.
Yeah.
We're still talking about this years later.
I know. 4 years later, here we
God
are.
almighty.
I know.
Yeah, 5 days after symptoms start. Or after your positive test. But the problem is that you actually started when you were asymptomatic, and by the time you get sick and then you test, basically you're pretty much done.
Yeah.
Lynn on the YouTube chat, by the way, streaming live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Lynn writes, I believe this only applies to Berks County. I just came from a Tower Health group and no one was wearing masks. So maybe it's just the Berks County group.
When I look it up, though, it's saying the region.
Oh, okay.
Officially, but maybe they're allowing discretion among their local offices.
Okay.
But I like their urgent. I will say I've gone to their urgent cares. They're very well run.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe they just had a couple of offices where they had some problems.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's what you do: stop testing. If you're sick, stay home.
You know what?
And if you test positive for COVID, don't tweet about it because nobody cares.
But you know what, Nick? I don't really care if I go into a doctor's office for an urgent care. I don't care. And urgent care is
wearing masks.
If they're wearing masks, good for them.
Oh,
if
they
the
want to.
workers want you to, right?
Yeah, I'm just not.
But
I would wear a mask in a doctor's office just because I don't want to get anything that those people have sitting in the waiting room.
I'd actually want to.
It has nothing to do with COVID.
Two places maybe where you should wear a mask: airports and casinos.
Yeah, exactly.
Dirtiest places on the planet.
Yeah, but that casino air. Have you ever noticed how they?
Parks is lovely.
Yeah.
Well, what they do with the casino.
Parks are smoke free.
It is. Yeah.
Not just that, casinos purposely pump, like they have the best filtered air.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that? Even back in the day when they had the smoking, because they want you to feel good, so they pump in like constantly. They have these systems.
You ever notice how they don't have clocks either? Yeah.
I know, which is also
brilliant
good.
strategy.
It's kind of heaven.
It is. I'm going to go later tonight. Actually, I'm not. Andy's in Philadelphia, and he's with us here on Talk Radio 1210. Andy, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I'm listening to your show when I have coffee in the morning. You guys just make me laugh so hard.
Oh,
thank you
have
very
a great
much.
show.
Thank you.
I like the way you cover so many different issues.
Thanks.
And I was listening to you this morning, and there was some criticism about the White House spokeswoman Jean Paul.
Yeah. Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, I'd like to put a little bit of nuance on that. I've watched her. She's not really good. You made a comment that Paskey, who handled the White House position prior to that.
So would you say?
She handled it during the honeymoon period.
So who's better?
And now,
would you go Paskey or Jean Paul?
Wait, I don't think it. I don't. Let me tell you why I don't think it matters.
Okay.
I don't think it matters. I think Jean Paul's got a much more difficult job. I think the president really has lost a lot of it. I think he probably doesn't communicate with his staff. They say he has fits of temper. She's got a difficult job because this is an administration in decline.
Yeah.
The honeymoon is over.
Yeah.
The honeymoon is over. She's getting so many tough questions right now.
Right.
And when Spassky had the job, if you recall, Peter Ducey asked her a couple of he was the only one asking her I know. He asked her a couple of really tough questions. She couldn't answer them. She got annoyed. She went on a Sunday morning talk show and she called him a very vulgar name, and she criticized him for the questions that she could not answer. So I think the current spokeswoman probably is a decent person, pretty bright.
Yeah.
But I think this administration is in such decline that I don't think they can answer any questions on anything. But I love your show. You guys are great.
That's great. Andy, let me
I love your show.
really quickly. Andy, let me ask you: would you take? Let's compare the two press secretaries for the Trump administration: Sarah Huckabee Sanders or Kayleigh McNamara. Who would you take?
You know what? I liked Huckabee because I thought she had a much tougher job. I thought she suffered more personal attacks, and she was stone cold tough.
Yep.
She was stone cold tough.
I agree, Andy. It was a great call.
Well, now she's a great governor.
Andy is correct, though, that it was easier for Psaki.
Inside with Jen Psaki.
I love this.
Because
this is such a good bit.
Well, no, it was easier with Psaki because everybody, that was the easy part of the administration.
Right.
Now,
that's true. Honeymoon.
Now Jean Pear.
Yeah, John Paul Claude Van Damme.
It's harder because the bloom has come off that rose.
Right,
Sorry.
and then you have her. Jean Paul likes to say things like,
I would refer you to the White House counsel.
Right. Man, what a day. What a day. All right, 9:19.
Let's take this one more call.
All right, let's grab a call. All right, so let's get let me grab Michael in Marlton, New Jersey. Michael, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, pal.
Great show today.
Thank you.
Hey, I've got a little bone to pick with all you guys.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, I'm knocking all three of you. Good. Why is it that Nikki Haley seems to get such short shrift from you guys?
Get what?
I think that Nikki Haley is the one to beat Biden. Let's put it in betting terms, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki Haley is. I think they've had some polls where she would be an 8-point favorite ahead of Biden.
We've acknowledged that. We've given her credit for that 6-point lead or the 8-point lead.
I think it's 8 point. Okay, and I think Trump's like 2 points, maybe 2, maybe 1, around there. In betting terms, if you're betting on a team and one team is -8, the other team is -2, you're going to bet the game straight up.
Mm-hmm.
What game are you going to go with? You're going with that -8. I'm betting straight up.
Better favorite to win. Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite to win.
But here's the deal. She can't beat Trump though, so it's a moot point. She's not going to get. She's not going to get there.
Yeah.
And I love her, and I think she's done a great job. I would have her be the VP. Mike, we appreciate the call, and we've said this too. Yeah. You know, I think the only criticism from most of us on this show has been she's very pro-war.
She's a pro-war.
Yeah,
she's a war hawk.
I was just,
There's no evidence she's a war hawk.
Stop. Okay.
There's no evidence to that.
She is very pro with everything when it comes to helping out Ukraine, which is a turnoff to me. But for the most part, I think she's done a nice job.
There would be boots on the ground to help Ukraine.
You don't
if
know that.
Nikki Haley was president. Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right, 9:21. Do we want to do the clip or are we going to do the big three?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do the Morning Mystery Movie clip? We'll come back and do the big three.
All right, that sounds good. Let's see if we can give away one more pair of tickets to Andrea Bocelli with our winner today for the Morning Mystery Movie clip.
I just said that.
These tickets, you see how expensive these tickets are?
I know.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What are we giving away? Are
I
we giving
know.
away gold?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's what we always do here.
I looked this up.
We don't
Really?
have the movie clip, do we?
No, we do.
I was like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, okay. Here we go.
And now, the Morning Mystery Movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Hey, what do you think? You can pop somebody and there's a special card to play? That guy Jimmy Bags, whose jaw you broke, happens to work undercover for the Boston Police Department.
I'm going nuts, man. I can't be someone else every
Hey,
It's been a year of this. I've had enough of this.
calm down, all right? Most of the people in the world do it every day. What's the big deal?
Well, I'm not them, all right, okay?
Exactly. You're nobody. You signed the papers, remember? Now, we're the only 2 people on the face of this earth that even know you're a cop. How about we just erase your file? Huh? How about that? How about we erase your file, and then bang, you're just another soldier for Costello, open to arrest for I don't know how many felonies, huh?
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
Great prize. Final pair of tickets for Andrea Bocelli coming to the Wells Fargo Center on December 7th, 2023. Tickets for sale, Wells Fargo Center, Philly.com. But we've got the last pair for you for free if you can identify that movie clip. Caller 12, 855-839-1210. We'll get our winner, Dawn's Big Three, and then how Gen Z killed the rock concert. I was always told video killed the radio star. Now Gen Z killed the rock concert. We're back after this on Kayal and Company.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you feel like you're always looking for another energy boost? Well, skip the artificial choice and try increasing energy at the cellular level. Orosine from Rescue Natural Supplements helps our body produce the natural fuel to get rid of that stubborn feeling of fatigue. Plus, Orosine helps support a healthy heart and blood pressure. Right now, Orosine is buy one, get one free for our exclusive radio listeners. Just use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L. When placing that order, call them today at 800-26-LIVE. 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, be sure to use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L, for the special buy one, get one free offer on Rescue Orosine. This is a clinically proven, heart-healthy way to naturally boost energy level. Remember, use the code FUEL, F-U-E-L, at res-q.com and do it today.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning. Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price. You must have done a ton of research. Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest. Lower than the big box stores. Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything. National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington. Yes. They may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
Enjoy huge savings on new kitchen appliances
prices during the Columbus Day Mega Sale underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Save up to 34% on select GE appliances. National Appliance Warehouse has an unmatched collection of GE, Cafe, GE Profile, and Monogram appliances. Innovative and inspiring, you'll love GE appliances. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. After Halloween this year, don't throw out your jack-o'-lantern. Use it to start composting instead. Pumpkins and other gourds are perfect additions to any compost pile. You can also add soil and roots from dead potted plants. And if you have a garden, be sure to add garden waste from cleaning and pruning, like stems, roots, and leaves. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
So many listeners are enjoying beautiful, easy-to-maintain homes thanks to Rhino Shield, and you can too. Dom Giordano here with my good friend, the local owner of Rhino Shield. John, take it away.
John from Rhino Shield here, reminding you that when it comes to painting your home, there is a better way. We all know that traditional paint just doesn't last, and that's why painters only offer a 1-year guarantee. But Rhino Shield is different. Our elastomeric ceramic house paint is warranted for 25 years, so you'll never paint again. Don't spend your money on regular paint that just doesn't last. Invest instead in a product that will protect your home and look beautiful for years to come. Let Rhino Shield show you how you can be done with frequent painting. Call us today at 484-406-5111 for a free consultation. Or find us online at www.myrhinoshield.com.
We know you're excited because Eagles football is back. With the free Odyssey app, you can jump back and listen to the moments that matter, even if you missed it live. Hear Marks and Reese break down the offense, or listen to Nick Sirianni's interview with the 94 WIP Morning Show.
Yeah, I've been in a game where we scored a touchdown, and I'm fist pumping with the fans. I don't think I've done that since I played college football.
Stay close to the Eagles wherever you are this season. Download the free Odyssey app today. AUDACY.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com. Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talking about this trip of a lifetime. I'm so excited for this. I can't stop thinking about it. Last night we were looking up, Larry and the kids and I were looking up all these Amalfi Coast videos, southern Italy. I want you to come with me for 12 magical days, and this really is a magical place, in luxury with the best, the professionals, once again, from Conservative Tours. I know last time WPHT Travelers visited Italy, many of you discovered northern Italy, but we're heading south, southern Italy, on a gastronomical tour of the most beautiful coastline in the entire world, the Amalfi Coast. And by the way, nobody does it better than Conservative Tours because they take us where the locals go to bring us to the best kept secrets of southern Italy. And by the way, Conservative Tours A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau will take the high-speed jet foil to the Isle of Capri. A stunning place. $52.67, that includes your airfare, includes the luxury hotels and unbelievable dining events. You're going to be talking about this years from now. Just call toll-free 888-733-9494, conservativetours.com, Abbey of Monte Cassino, Puglia, Medieval Caserta, Sorrento, Pompeii, of course, Rome, all the ancient sites. Join me next spring. I don't want you to miss out. This is going to sell out. I'll see you on the Isle of Capri. Call now, 888-733-9494, conservativetours.com.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Kayal and Company, 9:29 Friday morning, as we continue Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Free Odyssey app live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210 WPHT. Get to Dawn's Big Three in just a moment, but right now, time to give away the final pair of tickets to see Andrea Bocelli at the Wells Fargo Center on December 7th. And our morning mystery movie clip winner is Rita in Huntington Valley. Rita, good morning. What clip did we just play for you?
Hello.
Hello.
That Departed.
That was what?
That Departed.
That is correct, Rita. Thank you very
Yay!
much. Nice work.
Woo!
Yeah. All right.
Yay! Love Andrea Bocelli.
2 months away. Are you excited?
Pardon me?
2 months to go until those tickets, December 7th. You pumped
Right.
up?
Yep, I am.
All right.
I am.
All right. Well, Rita, we appreciate you. Thank you so much and have a great weekend. There she is, Rita in Huntington Valley. Final pair of tickets. By the way, Dawn, did you see the? I know we said they're expensive. Do you know what the monetary figure was for those tickets?
A lot of Anthony and I were looking this up yesterday. They're like hundreds, $300 to $400 tickets
a pop. Oh,
yeah. These are,
okay.
These are amazing.
That is really cool.
We probably should have said that when we started.
I know.
So people, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, when
not
once
Friday
this
at 9:30.
once this contest was over, we came to the realization that this will cost you about $2,000 for a party of 5.
Well, the thing about it is it's in December, so it's actually a nice,
Yeah.
because what do you get? What do you get somebody? It's a great gift.
Oh, absolutely, a great holiday gift for sure. All right, there you go.
All I'm saying is that if we would have said,
I know,
all this week at 9:20, we're giving away $300 to $400.
Yeah.
I know,
people will
that's
be like,
true.
I'm in.
Moving forward, when we do have tickets, I am going to DuckDuckGo them and see what they're going for. I think that'll be my new.
Well, we were looking at them to get some. We'll probably go to this, and so because I guess I'm not allowed to disguise my voice.
Well, I'm sure Dorenzo's got front row seats for him.
Right?
He's got tickets to everything else. So there you
Well
go.
said.
Yeah, and he's your producer, so he should let you in on this a little bit. You would think, after all these years. All right, 9:31. Let's get to a Dawn Stenzeland Big Three at 9.
And good morning.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
There's the sounder.
There it is. Friday, October 6th, Big 3, sponsored by Piazza Auto Group. Well, if you missed it, early this morning, former President Donald J. Trump officially backing Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio, who you know as the House Judiciary Committee chair, longtime Trump defender, while Trump endorsing the official endorsement for Jordan to succeed Kevin McCarthy, calling him a star long before making his very successful journey to D.C. And he says that Jordan has his total and complete endorsement. He'll be a great Speaker of the House. So DJT campaigning for somebody else, not just himself for president. Right?
Well, I like it. I've had him number 1 on my list ahead of Byron Donalds, and he's got Nick Kayal endorses Jim Jordan. How about that?
I love it. Let's talk about Pennsylvania because we know, of course, that Pennsylvania is necessary on the road to the White House. And so what are lawmakers doing? The Pennsylvania House advancing a bill yesterday that would change the 2024 presidential primary date from April 23rd to April 2nd. So this, first of all, the April 2nd puts us in play and gives us more power. That's good. That's a good thing. But remember, we've reported to you before that April 23rd is right during Passover. And so they can't, and on the first day, by the way, so they can't have it. They had to have changed it. That was boneheaded that they ever had that date in the first place. The other date we've heard was March 19th, but that one didn't get traction. It looks like the April 2nd date is getting the traction. So that's now being advanced. Other election reform items included expanded voter ID requirements, and obviously the Republicans pushing hard for voter ID requirements. Also then Democrats, however, they countered that by stuffing into this that they want some more mail-in ballot rule changes. So that's why that one is contentious, and Republicans were not going to go along with more mail-in ballot, changes.
Okay.
So the upper chamber at this point is not scheduled to return to session until October 16th, meaning the earliest date that we're looking at this is late October. So the proposed April 2nd primary date would be less than 6 months away at that point. So they're really pushing the deadline here.
All right.
Republicans are just saying that this is ridiculous, that we absolutely can preserve voter, election integrity by having proper identification.
I know.
When you vote.
You know what's amazing is that you could actually try to make the argument that identification is not necessary. And we've talked about this before,
Yeah.
but it's like you need ID to get into a casino if you look underage. You need ID at the bar to play the lottery, to buy a pack of cigarettes. Like, stop making it so ridiculous that, like, yeah, I need to know that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and so Republicans in Pennsylvania are saying requiring ID at the polls prevents fraud, will begin to rebuild confidence in our electoral system. And they pointed out, if you had, a utility bill plus something else, if you had your driver's license, even if it expired, I mean, they were really loose with, like two forms of ID.
Even if your ID is expired, I'm just trying to match up the face with the name.
Yeah.
The expiration date means nothing to me. And when I went and voted in the midterms in November, I went to, and my little spot was a little church in Bluebell. And I went in, I got in my line, and when I went up to the table, the elderly lady, beautiful lady, she was like, "Can I see ID?" I'm like, "Yep." Handed it, pulled it out. She's looking at it. And she studied it for like a minute. I'm like, "No, it's me."
Did you have hair before or something in the old photo? Okay.
No, I mean, it was almost a match. It was amazing. But it's like, I actually felt good about that. Like, yeah, this is the way it should be.
She was taking it seriously.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking of taking things seriously, Phillies fans rule. Another round for everyone. This is, we're looking forward to tomorrow night. Our Phillies, going to Atlanta and hopefully just beating them, but for the Braves. But one Phillies fan was feeling some brotherly love, bought beer for fellow fans during Game 2 of the Wild Card Series, and this went viral with the vendor passing out, I'll point out, Miller Lite cans, Miller Lite.
Miller.
And the fans started cheering even louder. This was the right field section of Citizens Bank Park, and the vendor is saying, "Here you go, free beer, courtesy of a gentleman." And so TMZ had reported the anonymous fan spent $4,500 for all those Miller Lights.
Wow.
For the entire section.
So he is either incredibly wealthy and Bidenflation hasn't affected him because he's in the 1%, or he was incredibly drunk and was unaware. And when he got home and realized his bank account was negative, he probably thought he got hacked.
It's like, oh no.
Oh my God.
I thought that was a fun viral video and a lot of celebration and anticipation for a big sports weekend. Phil's tomorrow, Eagles on Sunday. Hey, let's talk about our sponsor, Piazza Auto Group. Get complimentary 2-year maintenance with the purchase of any new 2023 Acura, like the Integra, TLX, or MDX. Visit Piazza Acura in Ardmore, Reading, and Westchester. You can always shop online, piazzaacura.com, and that's PIAZZA. Piazza Auto Group, thank you for sponsoring our Big Three.
The only thing that could have made that any funnier is if he did try to buy Bud Lights and everybody rejected it and handed it back to the vendor.
That'd be a good one. Say, no, can I get a Miller Lite instead?
Well, I think Philadelphia is a Miller Lite town.
Totally.
Philly has always been more Miller than Bud. Before the Dylan Mulvaney thing, I always actually liked Bud better than Miller. But if if I'm golfing though, and it's a light beer of choice, I either go Coors or Michelob Ultra because it's more watered down. Especially when you're playing golf in like 95-degree heat.
Funny.
Like I'm not drinking a Yingling while I'm golfing. I'm not going to pass out and dehydrate myself. But yeah, I would always go with that. So very interesting. All right, so let's get to the alcohol conversation. The Wall Street Journal with a story, and the title of this story is "When Did Rock Concerts Become Tame? You Can Thank Alcohol-Free Gen Z." Now, Anthony DiRenzo, noted party goer, concert attender. He goes to big sporting events. He makes $12 an hour, but he lives like, he's the CEO of the company. You actually have said that you've gone to a lot of concerts lately, and they're not tame, and the booze is flowing.
Yeah, I mean, it just so happened that a lot of the concerts that I wanted to go to this year all happened in September. And I went to see Red Hot Chili Peppers. I saw this alternative band called Movements. Saw this guy called Kenny Hoopla. All of them, I mean, very much excited, mosh pits.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I do think people my age are more aware of alcohol being a problem in their lives. So some people aren't as much drinking, but I mean...
Either that or you've all transitioned to weed.
But yeah, I mean, people are doing drugs to an extent. But I would say at the same time, most people have a drink in their hands, and on top of that, I mean, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, it was as packed as I've seen a concert.
I was just going to ask you,
all
what
time.
concerts are you seeing? Is it the older bands from the 80s and 90s we're talking about?
Well, I kind of do everything. Like, I saw Grateful Dead, like Greg did, and they're kind of same kind of vibe with that older crowd. Like, same with Red Hot Chili Peppers. But this band Movements, like, they're pretty new. They've only been out since 2017, and they're selling out every venue. They were in the Fillmore. The crowd was packed. Everyone was singing every word. So, to your point, I think rock isn't in the mainstream anymore the way it was when, Van Halen and Led Zeppelin were these icons. But to an extent, I think with how music is now, it really is starting to come back. And even like hip hop and country to an extent are having some rock influence.
I've got to imagine country concerts still are heavy on alcohol and beer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll even smell some drugs there too. Like, you can't really escape it. Yeah.
I wonder, though, if a piece of this is that people are more conscious of viral videos, and that if you get all crazy and liquored up, that somebody's going to, post you doing something really stupid.
I would think the opposite in this day and age of, hey, I want to go viral. I want the retweets and the likes and the comments. I want to be the next influencer. I would think that some of these people would seek out that sort of attention.
I also don't want to spend a whole year's paycheck on an alcohol drink.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why you got to pregame. This is why you got to do all that stuff. Drink out in the parking lot, have a few mixed drinks, and then go in and just buy 2 beers and get out of there for $18 as opposed to $75, which kills people. It says in this Wall Street Journal article that music festivals are responding by offering more no-booze beverages. The Lollapalooza, Austin City Limits, and Bonnaroo festivals provide non-alcoholic drinks at every bar with names such as Rambler, Waterloo, and Liquid Death. Very interesting. Non-alcoholic, and it's called Liquid Death. I'm not sure what's gonna kill you. Maybe the sugar.
It's just water.
Just pure water?
Liquid Death is just pure water.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
So
good.
is it just like a brand of bottled water?
Yeah, that's
Canned
Greg's.
water.
Greg loves that stuff, remember?
Really?
Yeah. It's just water. They sell it at the, Freedom Morgan Pavilion. It's like $5 a can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen. By the way, that's a very interesting thing. I don't know that I could drink water out of a can.
Oh, it's better. Try it. I didn't think I'd like it either. It's great, and it has gone down a little bit in price. To Daniel's point, it used to be ridiculous. It's like $2.50 now.
Yeah.
If you get a can at like Giant or Whole Foods or something. I mean, they even sell it at like Walmart.
Well,
now.
they sell them at golf events where I see them, but
Yeah.
they're drinking out of the aluminum pints.
Well, I think to your point with it, it looks like you're drinking a pounder.
Yeah.
So if you're not drinking, it kind of makes you feel like you fit in.
Correct.
So, yeah.
That's very odd. So was it weird when you cracked open the can and you didn't hear the carbonation and the fizz?
Well, they have carbonated water as well.
Yeah.
So you still get that.
Yeah. Every now and then I have a carbonated water when I'm trying to give my liver a day off from boozing. I drink a carbonated water on ice.
How often is that?
Yeah, 2 times a week.
Yeah, well.
There you go. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Coming up, we will get to what is on tap for the Dawn Show, as well as who won Twitter today. No cut sheet part due for the day. Stocker just made a mid-show transition. He's gone from the chairman of the board on the show. He literally went down the hallway, got into a phone booth, and came out dressed like a corporate suit. He's heading into a big meeting.
Wow.
How about that?
We got a spy on
This
him.
could be it, Dawn. We might get the email today at like 12:02.
Uh-oh. They're stealing Stalker.
We'd like to wish Nick the best in his future endeavors. Year 1 was okay. Now get out. Could be in the works. Anytime the suits are in the closed door meetings,
Dun, dun, dun. What are
you
you
always prepare for the worst.
Anthony, go sneak in there, spy on him.
Yeah, go in there and bug the studio. We got all this extra equipment here. All right, coming up next, we'll find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show and who won Twitter today as we continue live on this Friday morning. It's Kayal and Company minus Stalker on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
This is Larry Steinhetz of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
See Joe Conklin with
Why
the
vote-
City Rhythm
hey.
Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th, and at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much. My cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTRCM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When it comes to all your home improvement needs, trust is everything. And that's why for years, I've been talking about the amazing work my friends Stephanie and Matt and the entire team at Emmons has done for me and my home. My roof, doors, windows, siding, and yes, remodeling projects. Emmons can bring that same quality of work to all of your kitchen and bathroom remodeling needs. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, and now baths and kitchens. Emmons is the Delaware Valley's one-stop shop for all of your home improvement needs. Call 856-556-3229 and get a free estimate, or go online to emmonsroofing.com, or even better, come visit the Emmons Design Showroom in Cherry Hill. emmonsroofing.com. It's about trust, it's about quality, it's about great work, and that's why me and my family have used them for basically every project we've done to improve our home. emmonsroofing.com.
You've heard me talk so much about Chapman windows, doors, and siding. I love the Chapman family team and as well all the beautiful work they've done so far in my home. And actually, we're ready for another round coming up soon. So they can always customize if that's what you need. I want you to take a virtual tour, if you will, of their website, chapmanwindowsdoors.com. The Nana wall product, check it out, N-A-N-A. Gorgeous wall of glass doors and windows. It will transform and open up your home. Beautiful. Also, the premium architecture shutters designed to last a lifetime, and of course, the lifetime warranty, historically accurate. But no matter what, no matter what you need, whether it's doors, windows, stucco remediation, siding, there is a Chapman difference because they offer meticulous work, outstanding service, high-quality products that are installed by high-quality people with a lot of experience, a lot of wisdom, and, of course, all of this created by two brothers in Chester County nearly 30 years ago, Mike and Mark Chapman, great people and longtime listeners, by the way. They get it, and they're going to respect your family budget as well. You can text them. You can call 610-431-8898, 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Chapman is truly a name to me that is synonymous with the word integrity. Why would you take anything less or want anything less when it comes to your home? ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Drive in with Kayal and Company mornings 6 till 10. Drive home with Rich Zioli afternoons 3 till 7. Live and local on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Yeah, I'm here. It's Kayal and Company, 9:50, live here on this Friday morning. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Interesting weekend on tap. Obviously, the Phillies, the Braves, game one tomorrow night in Atlanta at 6 o'clock. Eagles, Rams, late Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles. By the way, I think there'll be more Eagle fans in L.A. For the Rams game than Rams fans themselves. So should be a home field advantage on the West Coast for the Eagles. But that's this weekend. We still have the Dawn Show about 9 minutes out, and we find out what Dawn has lined up for 10 o'clock this morning.
Yes, so we're going to talk to the Republican candidate for the Delaware County DA, Beth Stephanide. I met her recently at a GOP event, and Delco native, great lady, but this also, I called her yesterday because there's some concerning information about border communities like Delaware County, and the murder rate and the crime rate is going up. And so there's something else brewing, a controversy, as why Beth deserves a huge apology from the current DA in Delco. So we'll hear from her, and you can hear from, straight from her as to what happened and why she is owed a major apology. I'll point out to you that in New York, in a Manhattan courtroom, we have the prosecutor and the AG, Letitia James, just arrived, the Trump case. So I'll update you on all of that as Trump's attorneys making some major moves in court. So I'll take you through that as well. There is so much developing today on this Friday, so we don't want to miss a moment. And there are breaking news details as to what's happening in the border crisis. Okay. We have Linda Stein coming up, Delaware Valley Journal. We'll talk to her, check in with her as well. She's at 11:05. So, man, we're jam-packed.
All right, looking forward to that. Dawn coming up at 10 o'clock this morning.
Oh, and I forgot one thing.
What else?
We're counting down to Nick Kayal's transformation to the Swiftie, to becoming a Swiftie. Because he's attending a big movie with his daughters.
Next Friday.
It's Friday the 13th.
That's
Let's see
correct.
if it's a Freaky Friday where Nick Kayal transforms into a Swiftie.
That's right. It's a slow process. It's a gradual build, Dawn. Trust the process, as they once said.
We're going to have so much fun with
We
this.
are. All right, let's see if Valdez has isolated a social media winner for Who Won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
I'm going to give it to Road Warrior just because I was doing other things in the back.
Okay.
And that's the only one I heard.
It was pretty good, though.
Yeah, I'd pay to see Britney Spears knife dance before Taylor Swift all day, every day.
All right. Nice work out of Road Warrior. Phillies and Braves tomorrow night. Stocker's not here for our bet, but I'll at least put myself out there. The Braves are a minus 205 favorite, so they're a little more than a 2-1 favorite if you want to bet on the Braves tomorrow night. Spencer Strider, 3-0 against the Phillies in the regular season. I'm actually going to go with Ranger Suarez and the Phillies. I think the Phillies have momentum. I'm going to take the Phillies for the upset for game one. I'm not giving the series prediction just yet, but I'll go Phillies pull the upset because they're kind of grooving right now. The Braves might be a little rusty. They've been off for a little bit. So give me the Phillies to steal game one tomorrow night. And then the Eagles are a 4.5-point road favorite at the Rams. That tells me all I need to know, especially when the public is actually betting on the Rams. So Vegas says Eagles. All the stupid people are on the Rams. I'm going to follow Vegas and bet against the stupid people. Give me the Eagles by a touchdown over the Rams on Sunday afternoon at 4:05. All right, that's going to do it for us on a Friday. Stay tuned. The Dawn Show is coming up next. We're back Monday morning at 6. And as Karine Jean-Pierre would say,
I'll see you tomorrow. Come talk to me.
I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you about Piazza Auto Group, Karine. I suggest once you're done being the White House press secretary, you come on up to Philadelphia and the surrounding areas because they've got 35 locations for you, Karine, and 17 different brands. That's why they are my go-to for all things automotive. I was just out yesterday at the Springfield location, a little maintenance for the truck, a little tune-up stuff, 7,500 miles in on my lease, and I got to tell you, they were great. Adam is my leasing consultant. He was there waiting for me in the parking lot. We go right in, get out. They go in, take my truck. I was in and out in about 45 minutes, sitting in the lobby, talking to all the fine people there and people shopping and doing their thing. A lot of people were checking out the new Honda Pilot SUV. Very gorgeous SUV. They've really reshaped it, redesigned it. It really pops. But right now what pops is 0.9% APR financing. And you can get that on the Honda Ridgeline, the 2023. I've got the black edition, which is fully loaded with all the bells and whistles. But if you're not a truck person, that's fine. Special interest rates, the Honda Civic, the Accord, the CRV, the Pilot I just mentioned, and many more. To check out all of their inventory, new or certified pre-owned vehicles, just go to piazzaautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Just a reminder, as I've been doing for years, about batteries plus bulbs in Mount Laurel and Northfield. My buddy Roy, this guy had the vision of old-fashioned customer service married with technology to build custom battery packs, smartphone repairs, game console repairs. Give him a call. Anything in the technology field, you'll get old-fashioned customer service and great technical skill. Call him at 856-638-0778. Batteries plus bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield.